Okay.
Senator McConnell, a question about tariffs. You called it a bad policy back in February. Have you had any conversations with the president just about that impact or what that looks like here in Kentucky, or talked to him about it being a bad policy at all?
My hearing is not what it used to be.
Tariffs, Senator. Your comment is about tariffs. Tariffs. Comment about tariffs.
Oh, yeah. I'm not a fan of tariffs.
Did you just see that whole interaction with it right there? Kind of reminds me of Biden.
Get the f*** out of here!
Does he have a hearing aid? Like, what the fuck? Oh, I made that joke. He's the epitome of run to failure. Term limit. Yeah, I'm starting to think we should put term limits now. Jesus. I mean, obviously, I think we should put term limits at this point, given what the fuck is happening to our goddamn country. Like, some of these guys are fucking cooked, man.
President Trump firing two Democrat commissioners, Alvaro Bedoya and Rebecca Kelly Slaughter, at the Federal Trade Commission. Now, the commissioners say
FTC?
they were illegally fired from their positions. The move is also drawing sharp criticism from Democrats. Senator Elizabeth Warren slamming the move as, quote, illegal. So let's get to it. FTC Chairman Andrew Ferguson joins us this morning. Sir, what's your response to the commissioners who say they were fired illegally? Let's begin there.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Yes.
Look, I have long taken the view publicly that the president has constitutional power to make personnel decisions, and he has the power to remove, powerful, unelected bureaucrats. And making sure that our elected president has that power is super important for democratic accountability. In terms of how it affects me at the commission, my job when I woke up this morning was to protect consumers and American families from fraud and from monopolies, and to make sure that big tech plays by the rules. And this morning, that mission is unchanged. So at the FTC, we're not changing our mission. We're continue to implement President Trump's.
So apparently this guy is part of the FTC, right? He's another employee. He just had other commissioners just get fucking demoted, or well, kicked out, fired. So his job is at risk too, right? He doesn't have to come on to the fucking show. I mean, given it's Fox, he doesn't have to come on to the show and explain shit, really, right?
Agenda at the FTC to protect Americans from monopoly and fraud.
One of those employees, Chairman Rebecca Kelly Slaughter, says she's not ruling out bringing her case all the way to the Supreme Court. Would you welcome that?
Former Commissioner Slaughter is free to pursue whatever litigation avenues she wants. Obviously, this is not the only case going on this right now. This is being litigated in other agencies, and the talented lawyers at the Department of Justice will, vindicate the president's views. Again, my own view is that the president has the authority to do this, but my job at the FTC is not about personnel. It's about protecting Americans from monopoly and fraud. It's about making sure that big tech plays by the rules and implementing the agenda from President Trump that's going to carry us into the golden age. That is all that I'm focused on right now.
All right, well, we'll move on. Mr. Chairman, I want to get to this. A new Wall Street Journal op-ed points out that you're basically at a
Oh, he's the chairman.
fork in the road. It reads, quote, cleaning up after Lina Khan. Will the Trump FTC pursue Biden cases it is likely to lose in court? Now, Mr. Chairman, what happens to Khan's antitrust efforts now?
Well, it depends on which of the Wall Street Journal op-eds you're talking about. They printed a retraction later in the day that, walked back a fair amount of what they said. And I'm making a joke, but my point mainly is this. I hear a lot from folks, and they write a lot, that seemed to start with sort of a general opposition to President Trump's economic policies and work backwards from there. And that op-ed, I think, is sort of a species of that. Look, President Trump put me in this job to make sure that big tech plays by the rules. And that's what I'm going to do across all of our portfolio. In our consumer protection docket, which is what the case that they thought they were talking about is in, and in antitrust. And, you know, if that means that we continue some lawsuits that were brought by the previous administration, so be it. But I think it's important to bear in mind that 2 of the marquee lawsuits, one in the Justice Department and one in the FTC, trying to hold big tech accountable, one against Google and one against Meta, were brought by President Trump in 2020. He has had a pro-consumer agenda, making sure that all American families are protected from big tech. That remains true today, and that's what I'm focused on.
So you will potentially continue some of Lina Khan's work?
I'm going to protect Americans, and I don't care where the work originated. If it's a valid suit that protects Americans and it makes sure that, you know, big tech is playing by the rules, then I want.
Okay, well, I mean, he's just gonna keep saying what he's gonna say, right? He's just an employee. He's gonna, right, protect the consumers, right? Because that is his job as the FTC chair. And well, if those 2 people are gonna get fired and then Linda Khan is gonna get fucked, well, it's not much he can do, right? I mean, they're just employees. They're doing a job. And if they don't do that job, well, they might get cut. Anyways, Fox Business.
You know, Knuckles, I was sitting here.
Oh, whoops. Let's not watch this yet. Let's try and clear out all
Let
the
me introduce.
news.
Hey, Senator, mind if I ask you real quick about Trump's handling of the border? Are you happy with the... Are you satisfied with what's going on right now? Do you think it's appropriate for elected officials to
Whoopsie daisy!
give tips to constituents on how to avoid ICE?
Oh my gosh. No, 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 no!
What's wrong? Why don't you want to answer questions, man? Answer the question. Oh, fucking Bernie. You sad fuck. You sad fuck. Uh-oh.
Ex-Tory mayor died.
Looks like there's more politicians
Ex-Tory
getting
mayor
into some
died in
shit.
drug den with plastic bag overhead, tied
Doing
to
some
chair
shady
for
shit,
sexual
man.
pleasure.
Getting into drugs, embezzlement, fraud.
Anyway,
Oh,
good
man.
afternoon. Morning, graphic
Children,
details.
pedophilia
You
shit.
don't say.
It's
Liz
like,
Linwood,
Jesus
67,
Christ, you guys are cooked.
Not bad, not bad. 67 visited the address of a
politicians,
drug
man.
dealer and was said to have used a shoelace to tie one of his arms to a chair and placed a plastic bag over his head. It's better known as the asphyxie wank. But anyway, an ex-Tory mayor suffocated to death in a drugs den with a plastic bag over
In
his
a
head. for
drugs.
sexual pleasure.
Holy shit, he was dead in a drugs den. What the fuck? Man, it just it's not being around the bush with this one. Fuck it. The dude was in a crack house, man. Got killed with a plastic bag over his head.
pleasure an inquest is held. The
Oh,
body of Tory councillor and former mayor Les Winwood, 67, was found at a property in Bilston, Wolverhampton,
I
on
shouldn't
July
be
17th,
laughing, but
2022.
fucking hell,
and
man.
this is only just coming out to
This
the
is-
public.
dude,
An
this is
inquest
like
held
out
a
of a
post-mortem
fucking
examination found he
movie,
spent hours alone taking crack cocaine at 67
Holy
and drinking
shit.
vodka
He's
before he
even like-
died in a camping chair.
God
This is
damn it.
the most gyro way to go. Oh my god. He had visited the address of a drug dealer
Oh,
on several
Jesus.
occasions and had likely been seeking sexual pleasure there. I mean, when I buy my weed, I'm not hanging out. I'm out of there. I don't want to talk to the guy. I'm also not going to sit in a camping chair in his house and put a bag over my head and have a wank. Man, who does that? Who wants to be friends with a drug dealer? They're not your friends. A coroner ruled the inquest into his death at Black Country Corners Court on Wednesday revealed Mr. Winwood died as a result of misadventure. I'm going on an adventure. Oh no. Oh my god. The cause of death for Mr. Winwood, who was unmarried, don't say, was listed as death from suffocation with intoxication, cocaine use, and coronary heart disease as contributing factors. The inquest into his death at Black Country Corners Court on Wednesday
what a sad
ruled that he
fuck.
died from misadventure. The hearing heard the use of cocaine while trying to achieve sexual arousal through asphyxiation would have put great strain on his heart. At 67, yes, it would have, which Mr. Winwood had been taking medication for. Coroner Joanne Lees ruled no one else was involved in his death. So basically, he was taking medication for his heart problems, and he
Yeah.
chose to do crack cocaine.
Yes. And then he chose
Alright
to
then,
put a
phone
bag over
records
his head.
showed the veteran politician arrived at the property about 2 p.m. the day prior with a bottle of vodka as well as other items. He used a shoelace to tie one of his arms to the chair and placed a plastic bag over his head. I'm going to guess this was the drug dealer that was arrested afterwards. Keith Kennedy had been out of the property when Mr. Winwood died, but he was later jailed for 2 years after he pleaded guilty to being concerned in the production of crack cocaine. He phoned the emergency services, but only after he removed cocaine and drug paraphernalia from the property. Officers who attended the property noticed telltale signs of drug use and production and subsequently found CCTV footage of Kennedy removing items from his home before they arrived. Mr. Winwood of Taysom Shops held his councillor role for many years and was twice the chairman of Bridgnorth Council. He was involved in local politics for over 40 years, paying tribute to him after his death.
Dealer,
The Conservative Association
Jesus
said
Christ.
he was a selfless servant. He was
Literally
a good
out of the Dude, it's like a
of his
scene out of
community
goddamn Pulp
and much
Fiction.
admired by all who knew him. He was kind, considerate, and went out of his way to represent his constituents. Why are so many politicians into weird shit behind the scenes?
Yeah, because they're
Why
fucking
does it come out that so
depraved
many
human
people are into
beings.
just odd stuff
That's why.
behind the scenes? It bothers me, and especially people that hold positions of power.
Oh shit.
But I mean, suppose whatever happens behind closed doors is none of my business, right? But see, when that stuff's really, really weird, you know, like there's basic timid shit that I don't really give a fuck about. I like it when my husband dresses up as a fireman. Like, who gives a fuck about that? That's normal shit. Who cares, right? But when you've got someone that's like a councillor or is high up in government, and they make like big decisions that can have massive effects on your life,
Correct.
and then you find out that they like to choke themselves with their shoelaces with a bag over their head while smoking crack cocaine at the age of 67. I think we need to start having a conversation about whether or not a person
Well,
like
I
that
mean,
should
apparently,
hold
some
institutional
politicians are
power.
being pedophiles. Oh shit. Fucking depraved people, eh? Having embarrassing secrets probably guarantees high office. My weed deal would talk my ear off for 45 minutes. Toronto here, yeah, that's a thing. Jeez. Fucking Canada. Wait, where was this guy? Ex-Tory mayor. A bridge north Shropshire? What the fuck is that? Oh, England, sorry. UK land. Ah. Where there's some shit happening in UK land. Oh my god. And fucking Boris Johnson talking about that dumb shit and some of the dumb politicians and their fucking bullshit. God damn it. You fucking idiots. Fucking idiots. Fucking sold out your country to retards. Nice. Scott Jennings in on it, undates them with true facts, but the way they respond and explain what's going on with Tesla cars is a must-see and hear.
No violence in our political system is acceptable. But this right here, what's going on with a guy who helps our country, who runs successful companies, who doesn't have to be doing
what
this,
do you
and
mean?
now one of his companies is under
Why are you
systematic
running
terroristic
defense
threat
for
and
Elon
violence all
Musk?
over the country, and people seem to
She's
be
just
laughing
like,
about it
no,
and fine with it.
you shut
It's
up.
outrageous.
Yeah, damn right.
I've sat at
You
this
can
table
see
and people
her
say, we should cut Elon Musk from the government totally. He rescued our astronauts today. Is that what we want?
Yes, definitely.
The treatment of this guy is outrageous. These people who are doing this need to be found, put in jail, and made an example of. That's
Yes. Yes.
Anyone who commits violence against Tesla or Congress or anyone else should be put in jail, 1,000%. But that should not stifle dissent or opposition. From
But
Elon
that
Musk.
does what are you doing?
Give it a little lip service. Give it a little both sides.
No, John.
It's like you literally have people doing criminal activity on the fucking screen, and it's like, dude, what are you doing? You literally had someone firebomb himself when he was trying to firebomb one of the Tesla machines. Do I have that thing? Yeah, this fucking idiot. This dude firebombed himself. What a fucking idiot. Apparently this is him. What a oh, he's right there. He caught himself. Stop and drop and roll, my brother. You fucking idiot. Also, he did it so close to the goddamn that was like the stupidest shit whatsoever. Oh my god. Yeah, it's gonna get crispy real quick. Boom! Fucking dumbass. Right there. This is dumb. Gotta love pyromaniacs, eh?
Here, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to say that people are legitimately upset.
She fucking clapped that mug.
And Elon
She was
Musk,
just like,
and they're
fuck
doing
you,
it on their
mug.
own, but there is no reason to have violence in the country. But I just wish all of us would support criticism of, or would support punishing people who are violent wherever they are.
For what I
and not
understand, the
letting them
Teslas
out
will
of
fall apart if you just leave them alone anyway.
Yeah.
So there's nothing really anybody really needs to do about it. Just drive them enough. Eventually, the things will start to just like.
I do think
fall off the side, from what I've read, allegedly.
one thing
Holy
that
shit! Where is the?
Hey.
What?
Hey.
Yeah.
You idiot.
It's like, Jesus Christ. Those people on that fucking show are insane. They just love criminal activity from their own side of the fucking aisle.
There, this. You're a winner. Oh my God! When I'm talking, you're not talking. No, when I'm talking, you're not talking. This is why. Yes, we'll have to like just cut him out of the show.
Chuck Schumer has. Oh yeah, same with fucking AOC.
Popping on. And, you know, to be honest, I'm not even sure why I'm popping on right now. Hey, everybody. Hey, everyone. Thanks for joining. I mean,
how do you fight it?
Well, this
I
notion
think
of
I could
tax.
kick most of their ass. I do think that. Okay, we challenge you to a WWE fight.
Good.
Wait. Yeah, that too. I wonder. Did he have Secret Service agents with him when he had those hookers and fucking shit? When he was buying crack and using it? Yeah, that's a good point, right? Like, if he was supposed to have Secret Service like 24/7 when he was in the or when he was working for the president under Biden, right? Did he have his Secret Service there? Jesus Christ. Hi-oh, hi-oh, it's off to work I go. Battled by Democrats. Rescued by MAGA. That's fucked up. Let's. Because I know that mine is greater after watching the Cardboard Clobber. The ridiculous tough guy want to be assertions of two. Uh-oh. Wait, he already murdered 3 family members last year? Oh, shit. Straw purchasing? Yeah. Oh, why'd it go that way? What happened? Was he casually walking down the street after murdering his family? Holy fuck. That's insane. What is he doing? He's like waving people.
Okay, you don't have to say anything, but it may harm your defence if you do not mention, when questioned, something today's trial in court.
Oh, he still has blood on him too. Oh shit.
Birmingham Road. 426 priority. Birmingham Road, I think we've got the offender.
It's not murder.
Yes, we've got a male here. He's presented himself to us. Can we just get another unit down here, please?
What the fuck? Jesus Christ. Fucking Nicholas Prosper. Oh, this is UK land now. Peter Blue, shooting at his old primary school, has been jailed for life with a minimum term of 49 years for murdering his family. Jesus. Dude just went on a fucking rampage. This is UK news, it looks like. Luton Crown Court. Yeah, England. Custody after
Investigation
Jesus.
underway after an 11-year-old is stabbed to death at a La Quinta Inn in Santa Ana.
Let's get right to Rich Prickett. He's overhead in Sky 5. Rich.
Yeah, this happened around 9:30 this morning when Santa Ana PD got a report of an 11-year-old boy that may have been stabbed and killed here at the La Quinta Inn. When they arrived, they found that the boy was suffering from multiple stab wounds and was beyond saving. So that boy was pronounced dead here at the hotel. Now, as for the mother, is reported that she had ingested something, was taken into custody, and is at an area hospital. Condition unknown. What led up to the
fucking
stabbing?
drugs,
The
man.
rhyme and reason for it. We
The
just don't know at
fucking
this
drugs,
point. The
man.
investigation is just now begin, where you see Santa Ana PD along with detectives outside of the hotel. And of course, as we learn more throughout the day, we'll certainly bring it to you. For now, I'm Rich Prickett in Sky 5. I'll send it back to you in Hollywood.
Oh, there you have it. Kit Kat. I don't know about that. Apparently she was drugged out of her mind. She was cracked out of her fucking mind and probably did the deed.
The White House confirmed a phone call this morning between President Trump and Ukrainian President. The White House confirmed a phone call this morning between President Trump and Ukrainian President Zelensky. It comes a day after President Trump spoke with Russian President Putin. Following that phone call, the Trump administration negotiations to broker a partial ceasefire between Russia and Ukraine will begin as soon as this weekend. Natalie Brand reports.
Oh.
Russian strikes damaged a hospital in Ukraine after the phone call between President Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin.
We are going back and forth at every level, driving both sides towards a ceasefire and driving both sides towards an end to this war.
The White House says the leaders agreed to a ceasefire covering energy and infrastructure, but Russia has not agreed to a full 30-day ceasefire. The Kremlin also noted a key condition for working toward a resolution should be an end to foreign military aid and intelligence.
We talked about a lot of things, but
God
aid
damn
was
it.
never
Got
discussed.
like allergies going on.
Experts on the region describe
My
the
nose
call
is
as
all
a small
kinda
step of
stuffed up.
progress, but say it remains to be seen where negotiations go from here.
What seems clear to me is Putin is at a minimum holding out for more time just to try and take as much territory as possible.
Back in Washington, the administration is facing a series of legal setbacks. On Fox News, President Trump criticized judges who ruled against him.
These are judges that shouldn't be allowed. I think at a certain point you have to start looking at what do you do when you have a rogue judge.
The comments follow a rare rebuke from Chief Justice John Roberts after President Trump called for the impeachment of the judge in the latest case over deportation flights. Roberts said in part, for more than 2 centuries, it has been established that impeachment is not an appropriate response to disagreement concerning a judicial decision. Natalie Brand, CBS News, The White House.
Hmm? Oh, there it was. Anti-Tesla protester.
Tesla, there's a website that's trying to dox Tesla.
Oh
owners
yeah, I
across the
saw
country
that. That was insane. They actually made a fucking website
saying they're
to
only
do
going to
that
take
shit.
down
It was like,
personal
what the
information
fuck?
when people show that they've sold their cars.
That's pretty
What's
dangerous.
the administration going to do about that? I haven't seen that website, but we certainly think it's despicable. The violence that has taken place against Tesla, the company, its employees, and also just Americans who have chosen to drive an electric vehicle.
Yes!
Yeah, that's like that's weird because my brother owns a fucking Tesla. So it's like, what the fuck? Why are people so retarded? It's just a fucking inanimate object. Jesus Christ.
Many of them are Democrats, by the way. Democrats were big supporters of Tesla and of electric vehicles until Elon Musk decided to vote for Donald Trump. So we would
Yeah, that too, right? That's a good point.
like Democrats to also come out and condemn this heinous violence that we have seen. And I believe the Attorney General has said she's investigating these incidents as acts of domestic terror.
I mean, at this point, they should be. Given what's been happening over the years, it's like, dude, these fucking asshats need to stop what they're doing. This fucking criminal activity bullshit. I mean, I guess people want this back in
You've
in the
probably
United
heard
States,
of the infamous Thai Army draft lottery. I mean, the one where you draw a card to see if you can avoid being drafted. The thing is, the odds of actually winning aren't quite what you might think. But why? Every year, Thailand needs to draft about 100,000 recruits, and they start by filling those spots with volunteers. Volunteers serve for 1 year, or just 6 months if they have a college degree. The rest are filled through the lottery. Draw a black card, and you're off the hook. Draw a red one, and you're in for 2 years with a monthly salary of about $300 US. Here's the catch. There are always tons of volunteers, so the number of spots left for the lottery is pretty small. That means the chances of getting drafted are way lower than you might think, only about 20%. So, would you take the risk? You've probably heard of the infamous Thai Army draft lottery. I mean, the one where you draw a card to see if you can avoid being
What do you
drafted.
want,
The thing is,
Pooper?
the
Do you
odds
want
of
to get
actually
drafted
winning
into
aren't
the
quite
Thai
what you
Army,
might think. But
faggot?
why? Every year, Thailand needs to draft about 100,000 recruits,
I'll
and they
ship
start
you
by
off
filling
right
those
over,
spots with
'cause you're a
volunteers.
piece of
Volunteers
shit.
serve for 1.
Oh. I ain't Thai, bitch. It don't matter. They can make use of you. There's mercenaries. I'm Asian? Uh-huh, sure. Uh-huh, sure. So what do the JFK files tells us so far? JFK called Joe Biden a traitor. CIA orchestrated the entire assassination. Links to Mossad in Israel. Ties to the Khazarian mafia. Gary Underhill was murdered after revealing it was CIA op. I mean, it does say Israel, but Russia via Israel. But there was also the other post that showed. I mean, right, the CIA was obviously involved in it, apparently. It was this one. This one that shows that it was the Jews. So was that supposedly the Israelis, apparently? And then this has something to do, and then this was around the Cuban Missile Crisis. 63. Cuban Missile Crisis was what, 61? Yeah, the 2161. Oh wait, no, that's under the file. But anyways. Right here, they talk about Cubans. And President Lyndon B. Johnson. That knew that Kennedy, right, they knew that Kennedy was going to get assassinated. Yeah, Cubano, who may be involved in the assassination of the late President John F. Kennedy. Also, this Cuban group is endeavoring to purchase through Mosley a variety of automatic weapons and explosives. And then you had WEF at that time. Cuban Missile Crisis, 1962. And then you had the U-2 incident. Alright, you had Bay of Pigs. So, it looks like this was in the making for a little bit. It was cooking. Oh yeah, so this is what's happening in Ireland, supposedly. For the over 30 million Irish Americans, this is what's happening in Ireland, and the reason Conor McGregor spoke up. Here's the scenario. You live in a rural Ireland, one of the most peaceful places on planet Earth. It's so quiet. You can hear the birds chirp. You know all your neighbors. Many are family members. It's a tight-knit community. Then the government announces that they would open a migrant camp in your village and fill it with strange foreign men. Isn't that what UK did? Didn't they open like a migrant town, like a compound for them? And they've been having issues dealing with some of those guys. State forces arrive, push you aside, and bully you in your own home. They erect walls and create a military-like compound with CCTV pointing at you, not the migrants. Then the roads are blocked and you can no longer access parts of your village you frequented for decades. In the end, you're left terrified and anxious with hundreds of migrants wandering around your community, calling you racist and acting like it's their home now. This is reality all over Ireland. All over Ireland. Oh, they got the riot gear out.
This is your job, that's how you justify it, lads. Fair fucking play.
Fair fucking play.
Give him this shite.
Look at this shite.
Fucking animals, lads. Yeah, he's a fucking in.
Damn, I'm surprised, holy shit, your own policemen in Ireland are fucking you over. Yikes. That's a big yikes. They're supposed to be protecting, right, the public and you guys for, right, paying for their shit, I guess, but I guess they're not protecting you anymore. Same with the UK as well.
They're all shaking hands with the security guards. Look, handshakes. My God. Oh, the security guards are wearing body cams. Body cams. No balaclava tonight, no? You forgot your balaclava?
Holy shit, that is insane. They like made a whole community here. It's like they're making like a militant group. They're literally making a encampment to try and fucking beat the enemy within. Yikes. Yeah, it kind of sounds like what a lot of politicians have been trying to push.
You don't just let locals in, but you let cars in. Are you a fast runner? Are you a fast runner? I don't know. You don't try. I'm not going to get run over by a car. The cars are coming in. Look, you can see the cars coming in. Yeah. You can see all the cars coming in. Seriously though, like. You're making me do an out and back, and I hate doing an out and back. Okay, it's fucking no fun.
What I'm going to tell you is, I'm just here.
I know, yeah.
And I was told to stand here all day.
That's
I was told the same yesterday. Today I'm told what to do. I don't make the decision. What
I'm not saying you do.
I don't make the rules.
As I said before, could you not just question or ask, what is the plan for Newtown? cannot escalate that risk. The risk of you guys being here, you're causing all this frustration.
Okay, and I understand you're frustrated.
Yeah. You met with POTUS in the Oval Office? Probably not. Honestly, a lot of these politicians have been trying to sweep it under the rug about what's been going on in their own countries because they know that if it gets out, it's not going to be good for them. I mean, just look at what happened to the UK. They've been trying to sweep shit under the rug for so long. I mean, just look at what Biden tried to do. These people have been trying to sweep shit under the rug so many fucking times, it's insane. Not only that, but you have media outlets trying to do the same thing for these fucking asshats. And certain influencers. I fucking hate that word, but I mean that is what they are called now, the content creators, because they get paid promotions to do certain things by certain people, right? And what's it to say they can get paid by a politician to promote some bullshit, right? I mean, just look at what happened with, what was it, Fortnite? When Kamala Harris tried to do that stupid event. If they can do that shit, oh, the fucking influencers would fucking eat that shit up. Probably some of them have. I mean, just some podcasters at least, right? I don't know, Twitch and people from Twitch or Kick, but they were, I guess, YouTube influencers, content creators. Yeah, everyone poring over the JFK files. I'm pretty sure someone already took, like, the JFK files and ran it through AI to get, like, a summary about everything. Rogan brought up the Mike Benz, the map of 550.
Things got lost so quickly in the cycle of news. Things just come and go so quickly.
Yeah.
Until Doge started unraveling all the spending.
Right.
And you start seeing things like $200 million allocated to transgender experiments on monkeys.
Right.
Like, what the fuck?
Ugh.
Like, this is
They're
crazy.
trying to make monkeys
and that's
gay.
just a tip.
Or
of the
lesbian.
iceberg. And then the NGOs.
Gay and
and
lesbian.
then that map of
Put a chicken in there and make
50,000
it gay.
NGOs that was essentially just democratic propaganda machine that was exposed, that was all just money being funneled in a circular manner. Things got lost so quickly in the cycle of news. Things just come and go so quickly. Until
Yeah, it's like the politicians
Doge
are
started
literally trying to say,
unraveling.
put a chicken in her, make her gay. Just like Kathleen Kennedy. Rob Schneider, Jesus. Even Rob Schneider's getting in on this. My goodness. Yeah, apparently CIA HQ got, like, hit up or something. Oh, report barricade incident. Yeah, somehow there was a barricaded dude at the CIA headquarters. Revealed the lone gunman at CIA is McLean. Virginia has been identified as Richard Ringo Langley, a longtime skeptic of the official story behind the JFK. Wait, what? I'm sorry, no. Firing shots at CIA HQ. Mental health crisis triggered a lockdown. No injuries reported. Jesus. Alright. Nothing new. Carolyn Levitt was just humiliated on live TV. The judge is a Democratic activist judge. He was originally reported to George W. Bush. Wait. Oh, she missed.
Actually, you said the mass deportation campaign would continue, but she asked about the flights specifically.
She mislabeled the judge.
Executive authority to deport foreign terrorists from our American soil. I'd like to point out that the judge in this case is essentially trying to say that the president doesn't have the executive. We don't have any flights planned specifically, but we will continue with the mass deportations. And I would just like to point out that the judge in this case is essentially trying to say that the president doesn't have the executive authority to deport foreign terrorists from our American soil. That is an egregious abuse of the bench. This judge does not have that authority. It is the opinion of this White House and of this administration, and that's why we're fighting this in court. And it's very, very clear that this is an activist judge who is trying to usurp the president's authority. Under the Alien Enemies Act, the president has this power, and that's why this deportation campaign has continued. And this judge, Judge Boasberg, is a Democrat activist. He was appointed by Barack Obama.
Oh, so she does actually say it. Who is it? It was a federal judge. James E. Boasberg, Chief Judge of the Court of U.S. Columbia. He ordered a temporary restraining order. Oh, this guy. On June 17, Barack Obama formally nominated Boasberg to the District Court. Boasberg was confirmed. Oh, that's probably why she said that. Wait.
His wife has donated more than $10,000 to
Wait,
Democrats.
the report.
And he
Wait,
has
the reporter
consistently
said that.
shown his disdain for this president and his policies, and it's unacceptable.
Right where I wanted to go about the idea that these people are all foreign terrorists, but Judge Boasberg was originally appointed by Georgia.
He was originally. Just because. That doesn't mean anything. Just because he was originally appointed by George W. Bush doesn't mean anything. He was then again appointed by Obama. And still kept his position. I'm pretty sure that's what she's talking about. Because now he's a chief judge. Well, I mean, she's not wrong. I mean, he's not wrong either, but it's like, he's just trying to be a fucking semantic douchebag, right? Also, this isn't really an own, to be honest. He was a Bush and Obama judge. What is so? I mean, the most recent cases was Obama. So I mean, she's not wrong. I think people are just trying to play weird semantics because she's the right. She's the White House press speaker, and they're just trying to fucking right. They're just trying to grill the presidency as usual. Fuck. Man, you guys are evil. And here's this. Canadian climate change group vandalizes Tesla dealership in Montreal, Canada to protest against climate denial. Nice. Climate change activists. Freaks out are now vandalizing the top electric vehicle company in the world. You can't make this up. Protesters blame Tesla, an EV and solar power company, for climate change. Yeah, yeah, that's so weird. They try to be the cleanest thing possible. Jesus. Did they call the cops? I wonder. They did this. Yeah, well, I was like, what the fuck? Were you just trying to spray the dude?
Un collectif de jardinage qui demande à ce que le gouvernement canadien instaure un comité de protection.
Yikes, French Canadians. Protection? Fucking soy boy facts.
Face au désastre climatique pour protéger la population canadienne.
I'm pretty sure they're gonna get the cops
de la
called
crise
on
climatique. Nous avons pris action aujourd'hui parce que nous ne pouvons plus supporter de voir le profit prendre priorité sur la vie. Les milliardaires et les ultra riches sont en train de détruire notre futur pour leur propre gain.
So fucking retarded. You guys vandalized the fucking place to just make a public statement, I guess. You know you guys are gonna get fined by the cops, right? I mean, I don't even know if they're gonna call the cops on you guys. We'll see.
Nous n'allons pas mourir pour les grandes compagnies. On va pas donner notre avenir aux ultra riches. Nous avons essayé les bonnes façons de faire. On est sortis dans les rues, on a signé les pétitions, mais rien n'a été fait pour assurer notre survie face à la crise climatique. C'est pour ça qu'on est là aujourd'hui, à déranger le petit train-train du quotidien. C'est parce que c'est la seule façon de vraiment se faire entendre. Nous sommes dernière génération au Canada. Rejoignez-nous dans les rues ce printemps pour montrer que vous aussi, vous n'êtes pas prêts à vous laisser mourir pour les profits de quelqu'un d'autre. Aidez-nous à ne pas être la dernière génération du Canada.
So fucking retarded. And they're just gonna sit there. I mean, that's good for them. Then the cops can get them very easily. Or like because they can't have kids. Jesus. Anyways. Oh, is this another guy that keys a... Oh! Oh! He's digging He's digging into his... He took a shit in his hand and is wiping it on the car. Oh, that's so gross. He's like wiping his ass. That's so fucking gross. Why would you do that? It's a fat person, dude. Why is it a fat person who's doing this? Oh, the fucking most disgusting shit, awesome. What happened to Ryan Reynolds? Is Blake Lively still being a cunt? Oh, god damn. That's a... that shark's been chomped. Play YouTube video. Your old interviews have you saying far worse than what your wife alleges. Talk about thin skin. You are burying your own careers and your egotistical hubris. Yeah, basically. This is beyond embarrassing. Stop simping for Blake and get her to apologize. Well, I mean, he's cooked. I mean, if Blake Lively is just like fucking Amber Heard. Right? They're fucking crazy bitches. Never did anything for me. All the women in my age were always nuts about Ryan Reynolds. I don't like his face. He really does kind of have gay face. Ha! That's fucked up. Wait a minute. A black lady lost her life in the set of lack of safety. Wait, I didn't even know this happened. I didn't even know this happened. Holy shit. This was back in 2019. I guess I missed this. Holy shit. Government investigators into the 2017 motorcycle stunt. Person dead during the production of Deadpool 2. I've concluded the fatality was due to inadequate planning on set and not writer error. It was announced Wednesday. Jesus fuck. That's insane. So basically just like The Crow, right? Him getting killed by a blank or some shit. Fucking stunt death. Another stunt death. Alec Baldwin. Alec Baldwin. Holy shit. Alright. Man, I don't know if I'm gonna watch these, man. These are so long. There's like fucking press briefings and shit.
I do have a statement for you from When it comes to Ukraine, I do have a statement for you from the National Security Advisor and also the Secretary of State. First, I'd like to reiterate what the President said earlier following his call with President Zelensky this morning. He said he just completed a very good telephone call with President Zelensky. It lasted approximately 1 hour. Much of the discussion was based on the call made yesterday with President Putin in order to align both Russia and Ukraine in terms of their requests and needs. We are very much on track, and I will ask Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Mike Waltz to give an accurate description of the points discussed. That statement will be put out shortly. While I have that statement for you right here, bear with me as I read it. Today, President Trump and Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky had a fantastic phone conversation. President Zelensky thanked President Trump for a productive start for the work of the Ukrainian and American teams in Jeddah on March 11th. The meeting of the senior officials from both nations significantly helped in moving toward ending the war. President Zelensky thanked President Trump for the support of the United States, especially the Javelin missiles that President Trump was first to provide and his efforts towards peace. The leaders agreed Ukraine and America will continue working together to bring about a real end to the war, and that lasting peace under President Trump's leadership can be achieved. President Trump fully briefed President Zelensky on his conversation with Putin and the key issues discussed. They reviewed the situation in Kursk and agreed to share information closely between their defense staffs as the battlefield situation evolved. President Zelensky asked for additional air defense systems to protect his civilians, particularly Patriot missile systems, and President Trump agreed to work with him to find what was available, particularly in Europe. The two leaders also agreed on a partial ceasefire against energy. Technical teams will meet in Saudi Arabia in the coming days to discuss broadening the ceasefire to the Black Sea on the way to a full ceasefire. They agreed this could be the first step toward the full end of the war and ensuring security. President Zelensky was grateful for the president's leadership in this effort and reiterated his willingness to adopt a full ceasefire. President Trump also discussed Ukraine's electrical supply and nuclear power plants. He said that the United States could be very helpful in running those plants with its electricity and utility expertise. American ownership of those plants would be the best protection for that infrastructure and support for Ukrainian energy infrastructure. President Zelensky also thanked President Trump for continuing to push humanitarian concerns, including the exchange of prisoners of war. He noted they had just had a successful exchange and thanked the president for his leadership on that. President Trump also asked President Zelensky about the children who had gone missing from Ukraine during the war, including the ones that had been abducted. And President Trump promised to work closely with both parties to help make sure those children were returned home. They agreed all parties must continue the effort to make a ceasefire work. The presidents noted the positive work of their advisors and representatives, especially Secretary Rubio, National Security Advisor Mike Waltz, Special Envoy Kellogg, and others. The presidents instructed their teams to move ahead with the technical issues related to implementing and broadening the partial ceasefire. The presidents instructed their advisors and representatives to carry out this work as quickly as possible. The presidents emphasized that in further meetings, the teams can agree on all necessary aspects of advancing toward lasting peace and security.
Alright, do we get most of the news? Yeah, it looks like it. Oh. I guess we can do Fisher James shit. See what's going on here.
The reasoning was clear. The program was aimed to assist. The reasoning was clear. The program was aimed to assist regular homeowners, not landlords of multifamily unit rental apartment buildings. So do y'all see? So if she lied basically on her mortgage application, I am simply saying that this is what this post is claiming. Y'all, real quick before we get started with today's video, I am going to be launching a content creation course coming up very soon, within the next week or two. So be on the lookout for that. If you want to learn how to create content, we're going to have that course right here on YouTube. It's going to be $24.99 per month. You can subscribe right in our subscriptions. So be on the lookout for that, launching soon. Now let's get into the content. And we are back, y'all. Thank you for watching today. Go ahead and hit that like button, my people. You know, it helps us out a ton. And of course, it helps you because it helps us keep bringing you this content. Now, what you are seeing on your screen, on the right side, you are seeing Letitia James. She is the Attorney General for the state of New York. On the left side, you are seeing an X post by Owen Gregorian, which is going to detail potential, alleged, possible mortgage fraud by Letitia James. Now, y'all, we are covering this. We're about to get into it. So hold on to your seats.
For 2
Let's take a look at
decades,
what
Letitia
Owen Gregorian
James
is saying
reportedly
here.
claimed her Brooklyn
Big
apartment building was a
development.
4-unit
Is
property
Letitia
on
James
mortgage
guilty of
applications.
mortgage fraud? Joel Gilbert, the Gateway Pundit. Let's take a look.
You
For
lied
over 2
on your
decades,
fucking
Letitia
paperwork,
James repeatedly claimed her Brooklyn apartment building was a 4-unit property on mortgage applications, despite official records proving it had 5. Now, y'all, that 1 unit, it might sound like, well, what's the big difference? Y'all are going to see.
That's a
y'all
big
are gonna
difference.
See there's
That's a
big
lot of
difference
money.
between a 4-unit and a 5-unit. Huge difference.
Yeah.
This may seem a minor discrepancy, but misrepresenting the unit count enabled her to secure more favorable loans, including a 2011 Home Affordable Modification Program loan that saved her tens of thousands of dollars annually.
Yeah, basically
now, the same
she lied.
legal principles she used to prosecute others may be turning against her.
If he does not have funds to pay off the judgment, then we will seek, judgment enforcement mechanisms in court, and we will ask the
So can we do
judge
the same on
to
you
seize
if
his
you
assets.
lied on your
They
forms
said no victim,
on
no one got
property and
harmed,
real
the
estate?
banks got paid back. So no harm, no foul. Why is that not the case in your view?
So financial frauds are not victimless crimes. He engaged
Financial
in
fraud
this
is
massive
a-
amount of fraud, and it wasn't just a simple
Aren't you
mistake,
doing
a
that
slight
right now?
oversight. The variations were wildly exaggerated, and the extent of the fraud was staggering.
It all began in 2001 when Letitia James purchased a 4-story multifamily apartment building with 5 apartments in
1,
Brooklyn
2, 3,
for
4,
$550,000.
5.
In 2005,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
James refinanced the building with an adjustable rate loan that started at an interest rate of 7.2% with a ceiling of 10.2%. So this is the type of loan where periodically your rate will go up or down based on the rates of the market, okay? For the next 2 decades, James took out refinancing mortgages and always listed the number of units as 4. However, the official record in the most recent certificate of occupancy, dated January 26, 2001, says the property is legally classified as a 5-family dwelling. In the world of mortgage lending, this is a critical distinction.
Oh,
Now,
sounds
let me
like
tell
what
y'all why.
Hassan was trying
Because
to say.
anything between
my
1
house
unit
is a
and 4
one-family
units, you can
dwelling.
get single-family home type financing. It's not considered multi-unit. And the
Even though the
single-family home
fucking-
financing, you're
There's
going
a
to typically
fucking
get a better rate.
Mediterranean house that's
5
fucking like
units and
2.7
you're gonna
mil or
get a
so 3 mil
multifamily
basically.
type of
It's like, what?
financing, which will usually have a higher rate.
That doesn't make any
higher rate
fucking
means you pay
sense.
more interest. More interest means more money out of your pocket. So fast forward to 2011, with her 2005 adjustable rate mortgage likely escalating to 10.2%, James sought relief from HAMP, a federal initiative under the Troubled Asset Relief Program, TARP, that was from the 2008 financial collapse. HAMPS, however, had strict eligibility requirements. According to its official Making Home Affordable Program handbook, eligibility is limited to owner-occupied properties with no more than 4 units. So when I said single-family home earlier, what I meant was owner-occupied, y'all, okay? So owner-occupied is up to 4 units. The reasoning was clear. The program was aimed to assist regular homeowners, not landlords of multifamily unit rental apartment buildings. So do y'all see? So if she lied basically on her mortgage application, now I am certainly not saying she did. I am simply saying that this is what this post is claiming. And here you have documents which you can review. Okay, I'm going to put a link to this post in the description. and you can review the documents
Why
for
the
yourself.
fuck you
and
lying?
You can see if you think that potentially
No, this is
Letitia
just all
James
allegations.
made a mistake, is this all just invented, or did she actually commit mortgage fraud? Check this out, y'all. Now, y'all, I am definitely not saying that any of this is actually true because I don't know, but there's been a steady trickle of this kind of information coming out about Letitia James over the past several months and even more than a year. We've already done 2 videos on this, okay? Major damage videos, because they have been talking about this. Trump's allies have been talking about this on X, and now it looks like it might be picking up some steam. Now, you may wonder, okay, let's say it is true. If it were true, what kind of crimes could this constitute? For one, she is the top prosecutor in New York. It is very unlikely she's gonna prosecute herself, and it's
Yeah,
unlikely
no,
that
she's
any
not
of
gonna
her
prosecute.
fellow
Like,
prosecutors
what?
in
Yeah.
New York are gonna put a case on her over this. So forget.
Yes,
the New
let
York
me
stuff.
just
She's
do
not
a
gonna face
let
any
me
charges
just do a
in New York, but
third-party
might there be
independent
federal
investigation
charges?
of myself
Might there be federal charges?
from a
Well,
different issue.
I wanted to research this, and I came up with
Oh,
a few
yeah, I'm
different
just
federal
gonna
charges that
investigate
could
myself.
be in play. One is
Like those
mortgage
goddamn
fraud.
stupid
Now, again,
influencers.
I am
Oh,
not
I'm gonna
accusing
have
her
to
of this.
investigate
I'm simply
myself.
saying if these allegations were substantial, mortgage fraud
Fucking
would be one of the
joke.
charges. Bank fraud could also be one of the charges. False statements to the federal government and conspiracy to
You're
commit
just
fraud.
making a
Now,
fucking PR
the
statement.
thing
We all
is,
know
this
it.
is the
Shut the
big thing.
fuck up.
All of this happened
Why the fuck you
allegedly
lying? All right.
in 2011.
You don't need to lie. Just be like, I'm
And
making a
most,
PR
if
statement.
not
all
all
right?
of these charges would have a 10-year statute of limitation. What that means is, as of 2021,
It
you know,
would
unless
go
I'm
over
missing
more
something, and I'm sure,
smoothly
you know,
if you
know how the
didn't
law
just
is,
fucking
you
lie.
can always
right?
twist it and turn it. But unless I'm missing something, all of these charges would be
I should say
past the
bullshit,
statute of
to be
limitation as
honest.
far
They're
as
like
any kind of
bullshitting
criminal
people.
charges against her on a federal level. So I want to hear from y'all. I want to, first of all, do you believe it? Second of all, what do we have any legal eagles out there?
I
Are
hate
there any
bullshitters.
federal charges that I
I
might
like to
have
put
missed?
bullets in
And
bullshitters.
the statute of limitation, is it possible? Is it possible that the statute of limitation would not have run on
I'd like
any
to
of
see the
these
life drain from
potential
their
charges?
eyes.
Okay, so y'all, let me know what you think in the comments. But before you do, stop, hit the share button, please. Put in somebody's text message, email, WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. Put them all in. Send this video out, please. Definitely do want to appreciate y'all for watching. If you're not a subscriber, please do subscribe. The channel's blowing up, and we owe it all to you. And of course, I'm about to slap another video on the screen. Please click that video. Go support the other channel. We're trying to get that channel up, the PIW Reacts channel as well. Thank y'all for watching. Love y'all, and we'll see you back in the next one.
Thank you. Alright, when the hostage is depressed.
All right, we can either do this the easy way or the... All right, we can either do this the easy way or the hard way. And if you shoot me, he dies too. You're holding a gun like 6 feet away from him. If I shoot you first, you won't be able to do anything. No, but it's aimed at him, so if you shoot me, I'll just pull the trigger at the same time. You think you can pull your trigger before my bullet hits you? Yeah, you're like super far away. No shot. I totally could. No shot. Yeah, The bullet travels at like 1,500 feet per second. But I got super fast reflexes. That is faster than the speed of sound. Yeah, and I said my reflexes are like super fast, so that doesn't matter. Here, do a fake shot. Go ahead. Wait, let me show you. Are you out of your mind? Would you just do it? How? How? See? No shot. No, I totally got that. No shot. Yeah, my bullet would get there before you heard the gun go off. Well, it doesn't even matter, because if the bullet hits me, my finger will automatically pull back from the impact. Where in the fuck did you get that? It's common knowledge. You
It's
think
common
you
knowledge.
die instantly, your fingers automatically pull back? Literally, fake shoot me right now.
So what happens is your body can get rigid right? He basically fucking tenses up after a death. Sometime either a death or you get faint, knocked out. It happens from time to time.
No, we're not doing that.
Fake shoot me in the head. Let me show you what happens.
Pow! No shot.
That's exactly what would happen.
Why didn't
So
your gun just go
stupid.
off?
I put the safety on.
Why do your fingers come in? Why don't
Why do you-
they flare out when you get shot in the head?
Because the bullet's coming from this way, so it takes everything back.
So what happens if you're shot in the back of the head?
Then it depends where the bullet hits the brain first. Like, it's complicated.
What, have you read studies on this or something?
Yeah, lots of them. Like, why else?
I mean,
would they
everything
think
is
someone's
just
held a
based
gun
on
point,
chance.
The cops don't shoot.
Because it's a movie? The cops might miss, but I won't.
No, that's secondary. It's actually because of that recoil thing.
You can
Does
shoot.
that
I don't
recoil
care what
thing?
happens. All right, hostage says they don't care if they die. We're clear to shoot.
What the fuck are you doing?
If I die, so be it. Yeah, we just got double consent. That's pretty cool.
No.
We just got double
I
consent.
mean, what's the point?
You have so much to live for.
Can't kick this drug addiction.
I can
4 months behind on my mortgage.
Have you tried blackjack? House edge isn't that high if you play basic.
Lost my job.
I will give you a cut of the ransom money.
And now, this is happening.
You could argue my day has been worse.
Even my marriage has been going downhill.
Yeah, well, bitches be crazy. Although this does seem like a your fault kind of thing.
All right, the lawyer says we're just about good to shoot. Just signing this form saying the hostage has given up on life. Nope.
So much to live for.
Didn't sound like it. He's just having a bad day. Sounded like more than a bad day. Can't even pay his mortgage.
Yeah, and sometimes life gets you down. But that's when you get back up and keep going.
Plus his wife is banging someone on the side.
I don't think he said exactly that.
Pretty implied.
Okay, well, I guess that's true.
Can't even kick that drug addiction.
When
Seems
I
pretty
get
hopeless.
knocked
Unless
down,
it's weed.
I
No,
get
it's
up
fine.
again.
His story is just getting started.
So is his
down.
mortgage, but he can't even pay that.
Let me take the money and I'll split it with him.
What did you just say?
Let me get the money I was trying to get anyway, and we'll give some to him. We could save a life. Like, are you gonna let this poor man?
No, you're not gonna turn this around on me somehow.
I was trying to
I'm not
emotionally
letting you
blackmail the
rob
cop.
the bank because the hostage can't pay his mortgage.
Wow.
What?
Guess we're playing bad cop, fucking selfish, greedy, no empathy cop.
I'm being the good cop.
This guy sounds like those fucking climate change activists.
Cop.
I'm being the good cop. I'm doing what he asked. You know what? I should shoot you, and then they should give me a medal for saving this depressed man's life. That makes sense in my head.
Well, if you shoot me, I'll shoot him.
What? Sorry, got confused. But if you shoot me, I'll shoot you too.
No, because you don't have the reflexes.
Yeah, you want to test that?
Yeah, maybe I will.
You won't. God damn it, I can never catch a break.
He had the reflexes. Well, there you have it. It was a possibility. You both get killed. Alright, I guess let's see. What's happening in New
Thank you to
York City?
Surfshark for sponsoring this video.
Well, a owner of a McDonald's says that he is tired of unruly young people terrorizing his restaurant, and now he's forcing customers to show their ID to get inside, and anyone under the age of 20.
So one McDonald's has started carding people to try and limit gang activity, but it's not the only location in town reeling from an increase in crime. Some restaurants have rolled out security guards to keep the bad guys from coming inside and enjoying their own version of a Happy Meal, while others
that
are
drugs?
barely hanging on as they display the visible signs of a society that's collapsing all around them. Kinda like this one right behind me.
But most customers say the age restriction is a good thing, and so are the 3 security guards posted at the entrances, because teenagers from nearby high schools have turned the fast food restaurant into a local fight club.
McDonald's locations are all too often the scene of violent crimes, and both the victims and perpetrators can often be young.
They were panicking. Yeah. Some of the guys were calling somebody were calling 911.
Oh, dude.
And then, like, in a few minutes, the police came.
I don't know why people pick this as their fight location, but it's unfair.
They're crazy in this McDonald's, and they do too much. They jump people, jump delivery workers, jump the security.
They snatch your stuff.
I mean, yeah, it's criminal
like a sailor.
behavior.
You can't turn around and say nothing to them. You understand what I'm saying? You got to know when to shut your mouth.
The teens add they're used to being ID'd since the Target around the corner also doesn't allow those under 18 in without an adult.
Oh, wow. Holy shit, New York City is just fed up with people. New York City's just fed up with youngsters. Because, right, you got people under the age of 20 who are just committing crime on the fucking, like, daily basis now.
Call to this
Holy
location.
shit, they went full, like,
get
the fuck
29
out.
times, and it's not even March yet.
Crime in New York is now so bad that soon regular businesses could all have to start checking ID. But what nobody's talking about is that many McDonald's in this city have become problematic hotspots for crime, and it's been that way for a long time, and the problems in these stores mirror what's going on in our subway system. However, this isn't the fault of the
That's about
brand or the majority of law-abiding McDonald's customers, or even the store
guess.
employees who are
They
on
buy
the front lines of
food,
New York City's
and
losing
then they
battle
just
against
pass
street
the fuck
crime,
out.
which unfortunately
I'm like,
manifests itself in
buy
a
food,
variety
eat it, and
of
then
ways.
pass the
We're
fuck
talking
out right on
crazed
the bench right
maniacs
there.
who try to jump the counter, gangs who use these places as target practice, and the former governor of New York, David Patterson.
Oh, yeah,
was
wasn't
even
he attacked
in
recently?
front of a McDonald's this past summer. But while the company
Yeah.
is doing everything it can to
He was
limit how
attacked
close its
while he
employees
was walking
actually
by.
need to get to customers with things like app-based technology and touch-style ordering kiosks, danger still works its way into the front door of some of these locations. Which brings us to the real reason these places are both hotspots for crime and magnets for gang activity. They're located in a city that would rather enable its criminals than punish them, which became frighteningly obvious last fall when a McDonald's in Manhattan's exclusive Upper West Side was overrun by gang members during a street fight, causing that entire restaurant to be evacuated with customers leaving their half-eaten meals behind. And as you're about to see, a bunch of these places have crime problems that are so bad, checking ID won't stop them.
Yeah, it's like, what? Yeah, that's not gonna do anything.
What is up with the orange juice here? Why is it so concentrated? I actually like it. It's full of sugar. But I will tell you, while I feel safe hanging out inside this McDonald's, the other one I was at earlier, there is something going on with that place. I always see people selling stuff to each other, doing something outside or inside. There's people sleeping all over the place, and they're adults, so carting them won't keep them out.
One McDonald's in Brooklyn is barring anyone under the age of 20 from entering their restaurant without an accompanying adult.
A sign went up on the door announcing the policy change last week, and it comes after several incidents at that location.
So this particular location in Brooklyn, I've been there. It's by a whole bunch of schools, and it is kind of a rowdy location, but apparently their main problem is with large gangs of teenagers congregating inside the store, and they're not the only business with this problem. The Target nearby that location's also started carting people, and there are some malls
If it's
in
one
this
business,
city that
then
won't
it's the
allow anybody
others
in
as
without
well.
a parent if they're under 18 either. But before we get into why that particular location is so dangerous and why some of the other locations in
Oh,
town
got
have
shot
such
up right
extreme problems, it's important to understand how insane it is that a
fucking
store
bullet
has
through
to
the
ban
goddamn
its own
glass.
customers in order to keep its doors open. Because that right there is the problem that underpins every single issue these stores are having. For example, the Upper West Side McDonald's that was taken over by gangs on Halloween after weapons were used just outside the restaurant, it's in an area where there were never any police, but where there was lots of gang activity taking place. And since the city won't stop the gang activity, it sometimes makes its way inside these places. And as you're about to see, there are some instances where checking ID won't do anything to stop even people who are under 18 from taking over these restaurants.
He says there were about 5 or 6 people running toward the McDonald's.
They were panicking. Yeah. Some of the guys were calling somebody were calling 911. And then, like, in a few minutes, the police came.
The police and
So that right there is the aftermath of a street fight that took place outside of a McDonald's in what many would consider to be a nice neighborhood that then made its way inside the very store, forcing everyone there to leave and the police and an ambulance to arrive. And when armed felons are charging into your business, I'm not really sure what 1 or 2 security guards checking ID are
they're
going to
not
be able
gonna
to do
be
about
able to do
that.
shit.
However, having security in these places is almost a necessity in such a high crime
I
city.
hate to say it, but security guards are not like actual cops or anything. They don't have the capacity, right? They don't have the capacity to be a public servant like that. Unfortunately, they're limited in scope.
Because the last thing you want is for gangs to
You-
be
you
congregating
actually
and plotting
need,
from
like,
inside
police
the very
officers
restaurant.
there.
That's just going to act as a magnet for more criminal activity. And you certainly don't want people selling things that are illegal in these places either. And that right there is the big problem that a lot of the places in the area I'm in are experiencing.
But most customers say the age restriction is a good thing, and so are the 3 security guards posted at the entrances, because teenagers from nearby high schools have turned the fast food restaurant into a local fight club.
I don't know why people pick this as their fight location, but it's unfair.
So what's really unfair is that since we don't have law and order in this city, it's up to McDonald's to police itself, and it's up to customers inside these places to watch their backs. And if you thought McDonald's prices were too high, think of what a local restaurant's gonna have to charge if they have to hire a security team. Those security guards' paychecks are coming out of the pockets of the customers, and it just creates a ripple effect. First, the store has to charge more money to keep itself secure, and after the amount of money that it charges goes up, the second thing that happens is less people are going to shop there, eat there, you know what I mean. And as less people come in the doors, the store's going to have to get more lax with who it lets in, and then the criminal element out on our streets is going to find its way inside
nobody
once
wants to go to a
again.
place
It's a
where
losing
there's gonna
battle
be
that our
a
businesses
chance
are
that they're
fighting,
gonna
and they're
get
not equipped to fight this
criminal
battle alone. They
activity.
should be getting help from the city, but they're not. And as you're about to see, just putting on the outfit of a security guard and going to one of these places, that right there could make you a target for criminals who fear nothing.
They're crazy in this McDonald's and they do too much. They jump people, jump delivery workers, jump the security.
Some point out the children need a place to congregate and after-school options. And locals tell Fox 5 a new recreation center should be opening soon. But NYPD...
Okay, so if the people in the McDonald's are
I don't
jumping
think
the
that
security
recreational
guard, I'm
center
not
is
sure
going to
they're
do
gonna
anything,
qualify
especially
on a
when it's
behavioral
criminal
level to
activity
be
you're dealing
allowed into
with.
whatever rec center we need to stop gang activity from happening. And to be honest with you, this isn't really an access to resources problem, even though that's how local progressives want to spin it. Here in Midtown, they blame every problem making its way from the streets into our businesses on a lack of resources. Not enough rec centers, not enough after-school programs, not enough treatment facilities, not enough outreach workers. But here, in an area of town that has a notorious crime problem, you have a plethora of treatment facilities all down the street from stores like the one I'm sitting in right now, which locals say just act as a magnet for criminal activity. And that's because if you're going to give out free resources, but you're not going to also give out consequences for dangerous, disruptive behavior, those resources are just going to enable more of that behavior. And the crime problems you've got are just going to get worse. Today's stories reveal that we live in a world that is out to get us from the very moment we wake up and open up our smart devices. Which is why I'm excited to tell you about today's video sponsor, Surfshark. Because online security starts with a VPN monitored unsafe places on an unlimited number of devices. Because everyone is spying on you, including your internet service provider who may be selling off your personal information. And with so many unmonitored, unsafe places like random coffee shops or even the New York City subway offering free Wi-Fi, you'll want to protect yourself from people who are trying to intercept your banking credentials. And the best part about Surfshark is that a single subscription works simultaneously on multiple devices and protects your entire household. Plus, Surfshark comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you can see how well it works for yourself. Every phone, every smart TV, every ThinkPad running Linux. Why do I still have this? And why don't you have Surfshark? Head over to surfshark.com/CashJordan to get 4 extra months of Surfshark. So here we are inside Penn Station, the scene of an ongoing humanitarian crisis beneath the streets that we were just standing on. And critics say part of the reason for that is because people are allowed to engage in whatever type of criminal behavior they want in a public setting and absolutely nothing ever happens to them. Plus, this is a neighborhood with tons of resources available for free, which are here to supposedly help people. And if you're gonna let people be criminals while giving them free resources, that's just gonna enable the criminal lifestyle they've decided to engage in. And this isn't limited to just what you see going on down here. Oh no.
The reckless and as ruthless of a crew as we've seen.
And they're young, some as young as 11 years old. Police say they first targeted Central Park this summer, and now Times Square is their playground.
So here we have a gang of teenagers who live in one of the city's asylum shelters. Now, they get to live there for free, and their ability to live there is not in jeopardy if they use that place as a facility to plan and commit crime all over town, which is what they're doing as members of a very dangerous gang. But in New York, we passed a law called Raise the Age, and what it says is that people aren't criminals even if they commit crime if they're under 18. And that's why you've got an unstoppable crime problem in Midtown. That's why you've got an unstoppable crime problem at some McDonald's that now have to ban teenagers. That's the only way to stop the problem, because people can be inside a McDonald's or out on the streets, do whatever they want, get transferred to the back of a police car, and then they get released back to whoever their guardian is. And while local progressives love to talk about how these laws keep good kids out of jail and out of a life of crime, on the other hand, these laws just enable criminals to do the same thing over and over again, which is bad because practice just hardens and trains criminals, teaching them how to engage with law enforcement and how to evade arrest next time. Because if nothing is going to stop someone from committing unlimited amounts of crime, there will always be a next time.
There have already been nearly 30 911 calls to this location in this young year, which is set to exceed the past 3 years, during which more than 100 911 calls were made for this location every year. And with that, the new door.
So 911 calls to the McDonald's full of teenage gang members have tripled. Is anyone really surprised knowing what we now know about how this city operates? And if no law exists to stop someone from engaging in criminal behavior when they're under the age of 18 and terrorizing people, the only way to keep them out is to just ban them from coming in the first place. Make that against the law. And that is a shame, because if a police car and jail time don't exist as a final consequence of bad behavior, society just ends up paying the price.
I think because the fact that we stopped enforcing certain laws and like stopped fucking putting these people into actual jails, they're just doing whatever they want.
Our restaurants become less convenient. Now our
Also,
streets
some
become
of our
less
shit is
safe,
the
all
court
because we've
system
decided
and
that
the
a
jail
criminal
system's
element
kind of backed
destroying
up because
society
of
should
just
be
the
allowed to
sheer
keep on
amount of
doing
people
so
who
in the
keep
name of
fucking
social
up.
justice. And the only time people ever get punished in a society like this is when they do something really bad and somebody suffers irreparable harm. Is that really the kind of society that we want? Because that's the kind of society we're getting. It's the kind of society we have right now. And nobody's taking what is a massive problem seriously enough here.
They snatch your stuff. They're cussing like a sailor. You understand? You can't turn around and say nothing to them.
Cussing like a sailor.
You understand what I'm saying?
Alright, I do that
you gotta
too
know when to
sometimes.
shut your mouth.
So the law-abiding are suffering from a lack of laws. None of the stuff that people are upset about is a crime in the eyes of our legal system. And if you think standing up to these thugs yourself is a good idea, we all know of one guy who almost had his life destroyed by this city when he stood up to somebody who threatened others in a public setting. And you'd be stupid to think that same fate doesn't await you or anyone who wants to stand up to teenagers who aren't even criminals as far as our society's concerned. And everyone in this city knows that if you get into an altercation in a place like McDonald's or on the train or on the street, your best bet is to just surrender. And if you've got a crime problem in your business, the only solution to it is to ban people who are too young to be considered felons. Otherwise, keeping your doors open to everybody just makes your business a place where criminal activity could explode at any moment.
But it's not entirely clear how the age restriction is being enforced. These high school students walked right in. The security guard even held the door for them.
I mean, we do look like we're probably gonna go get food. It's kind of odd that you're like, oh, you gotta be 20, and then I walked right in.
They had it as 18 at first, and now they put it up to 20 in Brooklyn.
So this store right here, it's got cameras all over the place. All of these stores do. And you know what? Whoever runs that McDonald's that's carding people, they know who the criminals are that are heading into their store causing trouble. And of course, they want as much business as they can get.
Oh, I think they only put that as a precaution, saying, hey, we will fucking eject you if you're being a nuisance, basically.
We're not going to deny regular customers who aren't troublemakers or people who don't appear threatening. And of course, once this works and the security
it seems
guards
like
let
they're
all the
doing
nice
a case
people
by
in and keep
case
the bad
basis.
actors
Right.
out, some progressive lawmaker is going to put a stop to it right away because it's working. And as our streets continue to get more dangerous and our laws continue allowing petty criminals unlimited second chances at places like McDonald's, local
Yeah, if
businesses
anything, they
are
just
gonna
put
have
that
to be
up as a
creative
deterrent,
if they want to exist
basically.
in a society that's falling apart. Because it doesn't look like we're headed headed in a direction where the problems happening in our public spaces are ever going to be the city's problem. And as obviously bad as things are right now, it seems like this trend is going to continue until the people who have to live with this on a daily basis realize it and start voting against it. What do you think about that? Are New York City's laws the reason we've got a crime problem here, the reason we've got gang problems inside our McDonald's? And what do you think the proper solution to stopping it is? Should people go to jail? Or are unlimited second chances too few? Should we figure out a way to give people more second chances? Maybe that'll fix it. Thank you so much for
Nope,
watching.
slap them
See
with
you
the
in the next
fine,
video.
give them community service. I don't know. They gotta put back into society if they fucked up or something, right? Vandalize something. Nice. Cash Jordan. Um. I guess let's do. What's going on? Oh yeah, I saw this.
So the whole Assassin's Creed Shadows thing just escalated even further over in Japan. As we have insider gaming reporting,
Yeah, apparently
Japan's Prime Minister will not tolerate
a lot
shrine
of the
destruction in Assassin's Creed
politicians in
Shadows. Yep, that's
in
right.
Japan
This
were
whole thing
talking
has
about
actually
this.
reached the Prime Minister. They say Assassin's Creed Shadows hits the open market tomorrow, and Japan's government is eagerly discussing whether to address certain scenes in the game on a legal level. The most controversial scenes in AC Shadows were revealed as Yasuke, an African samurai, desecrating and destroying shrines, which drew intense blowback from the Japanese people. In a Diet discussion today, the Japanese government, including Prime Minister Ishiba Shiguru, brought up the question of what to do about AC Shadow's scandalous sequences. A report from IT Media circulated by Dexerto breaks down the discussion in the Diet, which was centered around the legality of AC Shadows. Hiroyuki Kata, a Liberal Democratic Party member, raised concerns about the Assassin's Creed issue, highlighting sequences that see Yasuke devastating a revered shrine in the game. With this apparent quote reading, "I'd like to ask about the Assassin's Creed issue. In the game, the samurai protagonist smashes drums, sacred mirrors, and altars inside the worship hall of a shrine
that's what
that
they
appears
meant.
under its real name. He slashes at people who appear to be priests, shoots arrows, and engages in other violent mayhem. When I asked the chief priest, he
Yeah,
said that the
so-
game company has not contacted the shrine to ask for permission to use
Yeah,
the
the
name.
Japanese don't
Insider
like that
Gaming
kind of
writing, it was stressed that the necessary bodies in
stuff
Japan
in-
are quote-unquote
in
keeping an eye on the
video games,
situation,
as you could see.
as they're intently concerned about possible copycat attacks on shrines across the country. The government is also concerned about tourist pollution. Tourist pollution. Yeah, that's one way of putting it. Worried that the eventual success of Assassin's Creed Shadows could see the shrines flooded with visitors.
I mean,
Ashiba
you already
Shiguru,
see it with
Japan's
the
Prime
IRL
Minister,
streamers,
had some
right?
tough words on the matter. This quote reading,
IRL
"It is
streamers that
absolutely
fuck it-
unacceptable to
that fuck
graffiti
up
a shrine.
the-
It is
or
nothing
cause
but an insult
public
to the country.
disturbances, right?
It is natural to have respect for the culture and religion of a country, and I think it is important to send out the message that we will not tolerate any behavior that does not respect the culture and religion of a country and will not tolerate it." Insider Gaming concludes saying, "The lobby found a clear issue with the destruction of Japanese culture and facilities in this game, claiming that it wasn't possible to replicate such acts in previous games. It's not clear what their plans are beyond monitoring the situation, but it was noted that the Prime Minister's comments, however strict, aren't indicative of further action. Before this, the existence of Yasuke in Assassin's Creed Shadows was also subject to intense speculation and scrutiny, with many highlighting his dubious and unclear historical position and the accuracy of his character." So let me know what you guys think about that. And one last thing to close with that I thought was rather interesting, saw this on Kotaku in action. The post reading, "I think there's a pattern going on out there, showing various headlines from outlets like The Gamer that read Assassin's Creed Shadows Review, a feudal return to form, Other outlets
Return
saying,
to
"A return to classic
form."
An exciting return to form. May
Jesus.
truly be a return to form. For
Uh-huh.
those that don't know, this is also rhetoric that
Oh,
various outlets
no.
used back when Dragon Age: The Veilguard launched. This was like their attempt to prop the game up, saying this is a true return to form for BioWare and stuff like
Jesus.
that. And so now
When-
we're
when
seeing
you
similar
have
stuff going
people
on with AC
saying that
Shadows.
shit, you
it's
should
extremely
just-
bizarre, and it's a very sad thing what the
cut it
Western
off,
gaming
man.
industry
Cut it-
has become,
it's
filled with a bunch
dead.
of disingenuous weirdos who have no true interest in gaming and seek to only
Yeah,
use
it's like
gaming
people
to
are just
further their
making up
corporate
shit
interests
now.
and their political agendas. But yeah, that concludes
Either
this
they bought
video.
the game
As always,
or
thank you
not
so much
playing
for
it,
tuning
or
in.
they're
Hope
just
you
not
enjoyed my
playing
coverage,
it and they
if
made
you
a
did,
post.
Please consider liking and or subscribing
Being
to the channel.
like, oh
Appreciate
yeah,
you,
return
and
to
I'll see you
form.
next time.
Oh yeah. I suck the dick of Ubisoft. Oh yeah. I suck dick to get to the top. I will step on any influencer to get to boy. I'm sorry. I'm an influencer. I'll stab influencers in the back. Fuck those bitches. Um. Let's see what Mr. Bellular News brings up since we just watched
on right now for
Cure.
Ubisoft. I'll start with the obvious thing that you know, that Assassin's Creed Shadows has just had its review embargo lift. But that's not really the main story here, and by the end of this video, we'll even be discussing the very real chance of Ubisoft quite literally splitting. That might sound crazy to you, but believe me, it's actually a well-substantiated thing that we're able to talk about. Now, according to this shareholder letter, Assassin's Creed Shadows should save the company financially. But here's the thing, that is not some boastful letter sent to the shareholders from Ubisoft. Oh no, it is an eviscerating letter sent from shareholders to Ubisoft, and they are not happy. It's alleging secret talks, it announces a protest, it threatens lawsuits. And it all cuts through to a very personal angle. The CEO and founder, Yves Guillemot, has been fending off hostile takeovers for a lot of his recent career.
Yeah.
And it's happening to him again, because now he has got shareholders trying to take him out. And that gives anyone who could help him out of his current situation
I wanna
quite
shellac him?
a lot of leverage. We have a huge story to cover today, and the
And
little
back
fun
of the
part
head
of it is,
shellac.
one of the things that they're trying to weaponize is in fact you and me. Now here's something that's pretty wild. BT were hacked a few months ago, and that meant that user data, which may include my family, was stolen. And that's why I actually use today's sponsor, Incogni, because they are our way to fight back. That's because when data leaks, data brokers then harvest it and then they just sell it on. You don't really know who. If you ever wonder how spam callers get your number and lots of strange things like that, well, it's often this whole terrible system. It sucks, and Incogni solves the problem by automating the legal work that you'd otherwise have to do to get your data taken down. And if you join at incogni.com/BellularNews, you'll get 60% off an annual plan. And here's how it works. It's so easy. You enter your information, and that's basically it. Now, the way it actually works is you've got the legal right to have your data taken down, but doing that takes hours. It's a manual process, and it's not permanent. What Incogni does is it automatically scans
I'm
brokers,
sorry.
sends takedown requests, and it adds you to suppression lists, so your data is not reharvested.
I'm already
It does that automatically,
using
and then
this,
it constantly rescans so your data is actually kept down. Just take a look at my dashboard for an example. You can see 150 sent requests, 142 completed. I've not touched it since October, but since October, Incogni's removed me from 35 more brokers. That's peace of mind at incogni.com/BellularNews. You get 60% off an annual plan, so give my link a click today. To kick us off, here's the letter. It's from AJ Investments, who bought a minority share in Ubisoft last year. If you know what a activist investor is, well, they're basically one of those. They jump into a company, they try to do some form of skullduggery to yank up the share price, and then they yeet themselves away with a lovely payday. Now, when their letter says that Shadows can save the company financially, it's not wrong. The finances of Ubisoft do need saving, as do the Guillemots, whose position this letter very much seeks to undermine. So let me lay out the stakes for you so you understand the gravity of today's story. Ubisoft's post-pandemic release schedule just, well, fell off a cliff, right? And then when they did ship games, quite often they missed on quality and they undersold. Leakers actually report half a dozen cancelled projects, and of course, please the market, Ubisoft launched into all of the fun trends, the NFTs, the AI, all of that. And of course, harassment and abuse claims led to a purge of senior leadership, and then the year 2024 happened. 2024 was, as we all know, pretty much a shit show for the company. The thing that should have really brought in the sales, Assassin's Creed Shadows, was obviously delayed. They knew that Shadows needed to be of better quality. It seemed that Avatar Frontiers of Pandora didn't really do that well, and while Prince of Persia Lost Crown is a really good video game, it was just too niche and it basically did not move the needle. While all this is going on, we've got the investors rebelling, demanding the removal of the founding Guillemot family. But of course, unfortunately for those investors, the Guillemots had spent the last decade making their position, their control over the company, almost unimpeachable through a deal with Tencent. And so, Shadows was delayed, and now we're at the time where it is about to come out. And now it basically means if Shadows flops, it's proof that Ubisoft does need to be gutted and that leadership, say the Guillemots, really are the problem, at least to the investors. If the game succeeds, in a way it'll almost be proof that management should have just made a lot of decisions a lot sooner, and basically for AJ Investments with their letter, no matter what happens with Shadows, they'll get to basically say, yeah, we told you so. Now, don't be confused here. AJ Investments are not out to make a better game for you. They are parroting very obvious criticisms of Ubisoft, many of which I'd say we could probably agree with. But as an example, they're also pissed off over the delay to Shadows. I think we all know that that delay was a good thing, and as you'll soon find out in this video, they're trying to rile everybody up to generate headlines to put more pressure on the Guillemots, which will of course make their position far stronger, given that they're trying to do the whole rebelling thing. We'll get into that, but for now, let's examine the spiciest claims of their letter. Ubisoft have been secretly meeting Microsoft, Electronic Arts, Tencent, and more. That is the claim that is made by the shareholder letter, and it's far from the only bit of pressure that AJ Investments are seeking to mount up here. They actually plan a protest, they plan a lawsuit against Ubisoft's management as well, who they say have wrongfully withheld information and hurt shareholders. Now, sparking this was the Assassin's Creed Shadow dual delay and then the financial forecast changes that were caused by that. Suffice to say, yeah, revenue projections went down. But then it gets a bit juicy because they say that this depressed stock price would allow the big players to buy up Ubisoft on the cheap. Now, of course, if those were big players who were siding with Ubisoft management, that would be great. It would be fulfilling management's personal goals at the expense of the portfolios of smaller shareholders, perhaps shareholders like AJ Investments. It's quite spicy, and per the letter, Ubisoft often hid things from their investors as well. As an example, allegedly Ubisoft hid a deal with Savvy Games. Savvy Games, if you're not aware, are Saudi Arabia's state-funded gaming company. They make a lot of investments, so apparently there's a deal with them to make DLC for Assassin's Creed Mirage, but I think a lot more relevant to today, quote, discussions between Microsoft, Electronic Arts, and others that are interested in acquiring IPs from Ubisoft. And if true, that is a perfect wedge issue for AJ Investments, and they know it. This letter says that they will hold a protest in Paris this May, and that if things don't improve, they'll actually sue. And look, when you examine all of this, it's hard to not see a lot of it as just the final nail in the coffin for Ubisoft. They've had nothing but bad news. You know, even their own shareholders are turning against them. But it's not all of their shareholders. It's a group of them, a group that is led by AJ Investments. And it's not hard to see what AJ Investments are actually doing here. And that's really because they've played their cards, openly, for everyone to see. It's bloody obvious. And, well, they're not the sort that we should trust, even if sometimes they'll say words that we agree with. Let me explain why. Reading AJ's letter, the one thing that will strike you is that it's dramatic, right? Ubisoft are keeping secrets. Shareholders are going to protest. Lawsuits are coming. That is all emotive, spicy stuff. And it is spicy. It's kind of fun to talk about. But here's the thing with that. We've been watching this story since it began, and it began last year. What this letter is, because if you only see a little fragment here or there, you won't have a real full picture of the story. What this is just another play in a war game that has been going on for a while. The first letter actually came last year from AJ Investments, and this open letter blamed Ubisoft management for everything wrong
Deep
with the company.
satisfaction.
And in fairness, a hell of a lot of blame does rest with them. But
deep dissatisfaction. I'm sorry.
Blame everything wrong with the company.
Deep dissatisfaction. Oh man, when you see that word, when you see those two words, you're fucked.
And in fairness, a hell of a lot of blame does rest with them. But why was this new open letter released to IGN first? That's no slight, of course, to IGN's news department.
Oh yeah, they're
the
doing
whole
this on
letter,
purpose.
I mean, it's
Yeah,
a shareholder letter. It's corporate
it's the
talk.
PR,
Why
man.
are you giving
Companies
that
are
to the world's most read
fucking
gaming
sleazeballs, man.
site for gamers?
There's a lot of
instead
slimy
say,
people in the
trade
world.
press?
Let's just
I mean,
say
if the
that.
intent is to actually get shareholders and investors to protest with them, that does seem kind of counterintuitive. You would not go to IGN if that was your goal. What you would go to IGN for is to get public eyeballs on the situation. Eyeballs that are, of course, part of gaming brains who generally are pretty, frustrated with Ubisoft, but not really people who will be thinking about who AJ Investments are, who might think, oh, look at that, even the shareholders are turning against them. Damn, those shareholders are our bros. Oh no. Look, the headlines mean we just got to laugh at Ubisoft. It gets the headlines trending. Here's the thing. Investment firms generally don't care, too much about the detail of why gamers are mad. They just want to harness you and further their own game. And their game is fairly obvious. It's to put more and more pressure on Ubisoft. So if news sparks because of their open letter sent to IGN, which it absolutely has, then that does further their pressure on Ubisoft to capitulate to their demands. They don't actually need to do a protest or a lawsuit to accomplish that. They just need to harness public relations against Ubisoft. Now, what about the meat of their letter, right? That Ubisoft are meeting other companies. That it's, all secret and spooky stuff. Well, it is newsworthy, right? Yeah, okay, them talking to these companies like EA, that is newsworthy. But it's also exactly what Ubisoft promised they would do, which was to, again, quote Ubisoft's own words, review, quote, various transformational, strategic, and capitalistic options. And to kind of cut through business speak, that basically just means layoffs, closures, and possible sale options. And so far, we've seen layoffs and we've seen closures. That they're looking into possible sale options is, not really surprising because they literally said they would do that. And when you actually read Ubisoft's statement, they say that when there is a transaction, the market will be told. And you may then think, why would you be secret about that? Why would you not announce talks? Well, if talks fail or a deal falls through, that can really hurt you as a company. Just ask the Embracer Group.
Oh, yeah.
How well that went for them. So, given the risk, why would investors want Ubisoft to talk? Specifically, these investors, AJ Investments. That's pretty obvious. Rumors of a deal will shoot the price up.
Yeah.
This quite literally happened. For short-term investors, that is the business model, and you
Correct.
don't even need to take
You're
it
gonna
from me.
drive up the
We
market
can just
when
read AJ's
Yeah,
own
these guys are
website.
fucking
Quote,
sleazeballs,
AJ
man.
Investments take advantage of events and take
Yeah,
such
public
steps that
companies
will,
will
help
try
correct
to do
and optimize
anything
their
they
running of
can to try
companies.
and drive their
Basically,
right
they capitalize on a
their
problem.
margins
They
up
force
if they
any
can.
solution that raises
And
a
if it
short-term
means
stock price
right
and
selling
then
out
profit.
part of their
They
company
don't
to
so
do it,
much care about the
to get some
long term when
right
they
to
say,
get
"Save
people
the
to buy
company."
into their
As an
bullshit,
example,
they'll
they
fucking do
only
it.
started their position in Ubisoft a few weeks before they published their first open letter. Prior to that, they're actually long-term.
Why do you
shareholders
think
of
a lot
Activision
of
Blizzard,
companies
which, obviously worked out
do
fairly well
like
for them in
those
the end. But in this
satire,
case, right, their letter, their pressure,
satire
did kind of
things,
work.
and
Ubisoft's
then they don't
studio
tell you
closures
if
and
it's
layoffs
fake
the
or
last
real.
few months happened at
Right.
least in part because of that pressure. And now the stock price
And that's more
is
so the
somewhat rising up again,
influencers
but
realm
not
of
just because of
influence
this
there.
letter. In fact,
You can
it's
blame
because
those
Ubisoft
people.
might actually be close to a deal. What if I told you we
Yeah,
might
you
actually
can blame
have
the
Ubisoft too? I'm not
pranksters,
shitting you.
right?
A
You
new
can blame the
company created by Ubisoft that
influencers.
will
You can
include
just blame
both some of
entertainment in
Ubisoft's
general,
IP, like
right?
Assassin's Creed. That is apparently something that could actually exist. That is looking for minority
People
investors
love
in
seeing
this
the
case,
downfall
according
of
to
others,
Bloomberg's
right?
reporting. What it would essentially be is a
Everyone loves
lifeboat to save
the
company
fucking
and
gladiator
maybe save
pit.
management as well. Now, apparently, offers
Everyone
are being
loves
made
the
to
arena.
Tencent as well as various investment funds. and
Everybody wants
preliminary
to see
bidding is
people
actually
crash
being
and
sought
burn.
this very month. Now, obviously, right, this is all stuff that's not settled yet. It is open to change, but it does in fact align with Bloomberg's previous reporting. Bloomberg, back in January, claimed that Tencent and Ubisoft were in talks to establish, quote, a new venture where the Gilmos would be backed by Tencent. Of course, the Gilmos
especially
are already
for
backed by Tencent.
Ubisoft, people
want
to see that company crash and burn because they fucked up so many times.
I think it's Gilmo Brothers Limited or whatever, where basically the Gilmo Brothers company is like a joint venture or whatever with Tencent. So suffice to say, the boys at Tencent have got decent leverage over the Gilmos. I think it's fair to say. Anyway.
Oh yeah, is
Ubisoft
owned by Tencent? I forgot about that.
And this is a quote, seek evaluation for
Yeah,
the
Tencent
yet-to-be-born IP unit
has
that
their
is
hands in a
higher
lot of
than the
video
size
game
of the main
companies.
So let that sink in.
But they
A
usually
unit of
take
Ubisoft
the hands-off
being worth
approach.
more
They just
than Ubisoft.
right
How can that
invest
make
in the
sense?
company,
Well, honestly, it's actually extremely simple.
and they
Efficiency.
just get a big
If you take
right
one unit of Ubisoft and
share
take it
of the
away,
company.
But then you look at Ubisoft and you sort of see, hang on, lots of bits of Ubisoft.
I
are
mean,
actually
I would
negative
assume they
value.
probably give
Oh,
some
yeah,
form
course,
of
actually,
like
makes a lot of sense that this
things they
sniped
want,
away
but it's
thing,
probably
this, scalpeled away thing
it's probably
will actually
pretty
have a higher
lenient.
valuation. Right now, you see, the belief
As long
is that
as they
Ubisoft
make
is
money,
too
right?
big, not in developer headcount, but actually in intellectual property. A bit of a
As
smaller, more
long
focused
as you
company that
make
only
them
cares about a
more
few
money.
IPs is likely going to be seen as a better investment. And honestly, I think it's pretty obvious why when you take a look at the games industry. So if this is to happen, and there is, good reporting from Bloomberg that it is something that's being investigated, how would it happen? Well, broadly, there's two ways that could go down. Number one, the new company would just hold the IP with really no developers. So it would control the IP for minimal cost. It would then license that IP back to the original Ubisoft entity, which would then be doing the development. The new IP holding entity would have lower fixed costs, less risk, and its investors would have more control, which gives them a
It's
real
like
good
the
incentive to buy in.
it's right the
basically
it's
saying,
like
hey,
the
you want a
government's
slice
trying
of
to make
Assassin's
a
Creed
bunch of
and The Crew,
NGOs
all these big
so
good
that
things,
they can
and
do
not
some
any of that other
pyramid
junk.
schemes and
That could be
shit.
pretty good for them. There is, of course, another way.
That's
You
essentially
just
what
do
they're
a
trying to
split
do
in
here.
terms of development and intellectual property.
They're
You could
trying not
perhaps
to get
imagine
their
one side taking these smaller
themselves
yet beloved
closed
properties
out.
like Rayman, Trackmania, and Anno, and maybe the other side taking the big AAAs, your Rainbow,
They don't want to shut down.
Assassin's Creed, The Crew, all that stuff. The point is that basically, in theory, both sides of the business could here be more efficient and be more focused. Now, there is a problem that efficiency is a fine idea on paper, and the other side of this is, yes, there are all of these rational arguments, but you could perhaps also say this would work per the goals of the Gilmo family, who would be using something like this to basically retain control of Ubisoft and solve their current predicament. But of course, the problem there, the thing with efficiency, is that it's fine on paper, not necessarily reality. Here's the rub for today. Assassin's Creed saving the company does not mean better games for you, okay? How many games does Ubisoft make that are more efficient for investors on release than just putting your money in the stock
Apparently,
market, right? Like the S&P 500? Well, the answer basically is most of
Yusuke
Ubisoft
is
games
a,
aren't really worth it.
apparently
as
he's
opposed to just
gay
throwing your money in the
in the
stock market.
game.
Assassin's Creed is worth
or
it.
at least
Rainbow
he
Six
can
Siege
be.
is
I don't know.
worth it. Valhalla's
I don't
worth
know
it.
how
Some of
that
their
goes.
other sort of live
There's
service
apparently
and sleeper hits
some
are probably worth it as well. Just
relationship
about everything else.
dynamics in the
Those
game.
are risks. They're taking up resources that could be going to making far more, guaranteed profitable games. It's not efficient for Ubisoft to produce Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, right? Under pure market theory, that game was a bad investment. It was a waste of time. None of this is about the quality
Nobody
of the
liked
games
this
that are
game?
being made.
It's
AJ
Prince of
Investments
Persia.
may
Oh, maybe
say
it
that
was
they want
because the
that.
characters.
They may say that and try to harness your anger to put on more pressure. But at the end of the day, we know that they were pissed about the delays to Assassin's Creed Shadows. And whether you want that game to succeed or not, game companies delaying their game so that they can have more polished releases is almost universally a good thing for
Yeah,
the
that dude's
customer.
already
So if
48.
Ubisoft
What
are
the
forced to sell
fuck?
off half their intellectual property to
Yeah,
the
they
highest
gave
bidder,
this
by
person
throwing
level
pink slips at
48 already?
thousands of developers and doing all
Then
of
again,
these
they're
short-term
they're probably
things
playing
and, pursuing getting
demo
that stock
build
price
or
up ASAP, but not necessarily
press copy.
at long-term value, long-term quality. Will that be good for the games? I would not necessarily think so, especially since this is the type of the investor who is anti-delay, even though the likes of Star Wars Outlaws clearly tell us those delays are often needed. And so regardless of how well Assassin's Creed Shadows sells, expect them to do more things, to drum up more headlines, to try and get a bit more leverage, a bit more control, and turn that pressure into something that they can profit off. Meanwhile, though, on the Gilmo front, well, they might be trying to restructure Ubisoft, doing something with Tencent and potential other suitors to get around this problem. Will that be good for the actual games? I don't necessarily think so. So, at least it basically means, who who knows if Assassin's Creed Shadows is going to be some amazing banger or terrible failure, whatever it is. At least what I can say with a good degree of surety is that it does make for a pretty damn good episode of corporate drama. We could at least enjoy that. Okay.
I mean, you should see the
probably in a week or two,
the social issues everyone's fucking finding out in
more drama,
in the
corporate drama.
game.
Wow, what's this next?
Apparently, they made the game a little political. Whether it was on purpose or not, who knows? Bellular news. What's going on with Snow White?
The review embargo has dropped for Disney's live-action Snow
46%.
White, and look at there, ladies and gentlemen. After all of those glowing early access reviews that were on social media, everyone telling you how great it was, and all of a sudden, now that the review embargo, the one that was held until the day before the movie drops, now that has actually been released, and guess what? People aren't liking this movie. In fact, I just screenshotted this and put this on Twitter, but if you go over to the website, it's already dropped to 45% at the time of me recording this video. Now, we talked about this with why are these early screenings, why are they overly praising this movie? Well, it's because they were shills. It's because Disney was doing everything they could to control the narrative.
On Twitter. I don't think it would matter
It's
too
blowing
much.
up in their face. So again, all of these people, I was watching John Campea the other day saying, yeah, I talked
wonder if
to
people
all
would
these
make the
people who really
connection.
don't like Rachel Zegler and really weren't looking forward to this movie, and they thought the movie was great. It was wonderful. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. They literally are shilling for Disney. That's what they're doing.
It was literally
no
happening.
one is looking forward to
around
this
that
movie. This
time.
movie is going to be a
And
complete
they were
and total
planning
disaster,
something.
and Disney knows it, and that's why they're doing everything
were
in their
doing
power
something.
to protect
And then
this
JFK
film, but it
passed
doesn't
away
matter. You can't run
by
from the truth.
assassination.
When does the Snow White review embargo lift? Disney's last-minute strategy raises red flags for Rachel Zegler film. So this was everyone going, why are they waiting till the last second? This is why they're waiting till the last second. Let me refresh and see where we're at now. Let's see. All right, we're still at 45% right now. So this is why. Because they knew that they had a pile of garbage on their hands, and they did everything in their power, and it still failed miserably. If you go over to this article right here, you know, it even says it down here below. With the controversy, the premiere blitz, suspiciously positive coverage. Fast forward to the premiere, and suddenly a tidal wave of Snow White early social media reviews appeared, and they were all glowing. Variety said Rachel Zegler was a shining supernova, and that the film was a visual feast.
Holy
the
shit,
Hollywood
they're
Reporter
just-
claimed it's actually mostly
They're gassing
successful.
the bitch up.
What? Framing it as a surprising win against expectations. So again, this is crazy. Right here. But here's the kicker. Nearly every review parrots the same talking points. Rachel Zegler is Snow White. Recaptures the magic of
It
the
looks like fucking
1937
Lord
movie.
Farquaad, I'm
Oh my
sorry.
goodness.
It's just-
It's the
she's not a
NPC
fucking-
download. So
She's not Snow White.
listen, you can listen to whoever you want on YouTube or social media or whatever. But anyone that was giving this movie a glowing review, not sure you should be able to trust them moving forward. But again, you're welcome to believe whoever you want on the internet, and that's the beauty of the internet. But anyone that got early access and then ran to social media so they could upload their first reaction and tell you how great Rachel Zegler.
Yeah. Now that I hate to say it, but now that with what's happening with the online space and like people trying to be content creators or influencers, right? People are just trying to drive up engagement so that they can try and make some money out of, right, the platforms now, as you can see. Right, if I were to, I think all of these guys have some sort of like subscription button, yeah. And there you have it, right? So they're monetizing. Oh, there's Kirsch. Oh, what is this? I can't believe that there is an actual disgusting fascism supporting white supremacy VTuber on this platform. Huh? Your disgusting lies about immigrants and LGBTQ people belong nowhere with the platform. Fuck Trump and oh, that tells me a lot already. Fuck Trump. So he's like he's basically fuck Trump. I love Biden. Thanks Obama. Right? He's basically that guy. Capitalist, hold on. Immigrants and trans people aren't ruining, Democrats. Life capitalism is, ruining your life capitalism is? Wait, what? Fuck you for regurgitating conservatism. Capitalism is cancer. Okay. How are you? How is this guy even talking? How did he earn his phone? How did he earn his technology? He had to use capitalists. So, fucking brain dead people on Twitter. I don't think they really know what they're saying when they fucking type that shit up. Michelle Obama debut new look.
The summers are hot and
shit.
swampy. So it's good to be in LA and it's good to be with you all season.
Gross. Oh. Oh. Ew. What is that? What is all that gunk? Yeah, they should have. Why didn't they turn off? I don't think they wanted to turn off the main water valve for some reason. I don't know. Yeah, why is it black though? I'm pretty sure that water would accelerate the fire. Yeah, dude, that water does not look... Yeah, I don't know what the fuck... I don't... Is it because they left the water? I'm so confused. Why is it all black? Dude, that's so gross.
There was, and how the Disney magic has returned to
Sorry,
this
got
movie.
sidetracked.
Well, now we're hearing from people, and it doesn't even look like the shilliest
Damn
of
Democrats,
shills
aren't you a Democrat?
are able to tell anyone
You
that this is a
filthy liar.
good movie. 45%.
Why the fuck you always
and
lying, huh,
Whether
bitch?
that goes up or down from this point in time, I don't know. 51 reviews is already quite a few. I mean, I'm guessing you're going to have a few hundred. Right here, this says 43%. Let's see. Yeah, so 64% and still got 45%. So right now, I don't think that it's going to have a positive review score on Rotten Tomatoes. And I certainly don't think that it's going to have a positive audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. But I guess we'll see. Time will tell. I'm looking forward to the discussion. And I also really want to know what people over on Criticlist think about it. I don't think that we have any scores over on Criticlist yet, but I would encourage everybody to go over there and start an account on Criticlist. You can follow me, and if you want to actually have movie reviews that don't have any bias and no bullshit and you're not going to be censored, this is the place for you to go. I actually just reviewed Trap, which is an M. Night Shyamalan movie. You'll have to go over there and check out my review, but it's an M. Night Shyamalan movie. What do you expect? But I did watch it all the way through, and I just uploaded my review over to Criticlist, so you can check that out. And I've got a few more reviews over here of different movies that I'm keeping my eye on, and television shows, and hopefully we're going to have video games over there as well. But back to this. Let's do a refresh one more time. And
they built
yeah, we're at
themselves a
45%,
website. Oh, wow.
and it's not looking good for Disney's live-action Snow White. This is glorious. I'm having so much fun watching this all play out between Assassin's Creed Shadows, Snow White, and all of the other garbage that's out there. But then in a couple of weeks, we're going to have the Nintendo Switch 2
Honestly,
reveal.
I could probably
and we're
build
gonna
out
cover
a
that live on Geeks and Gamers
full
Play. So I hope you
website
guys will
probably in,
join
like,
us
a
for that.
couple
I'm so
weeks.
excited. I cannot wait.
If I just
and also,
constantly
if you
work
have
on
not,
it for,
please
like,
go over to
8 hours a day.
metapcs.com. Use the promo code 199 and you can save and you can get yourself a badass computer, custom build, pre-build, a laptop, accessories, whatever you're looking for. They'll take care of you. Promo code 199. We appreciate you guys. Supporting them is supporting us, and we appreciate it. Well, we will continue to follow the disaster known as Disney Snow White. You guys have a great day. Thank you very much for checking out this video, and we will talk to you later.
Well, there you go. Rotten Tomatoes destroys Snow White. Geeks and Gamers. Let's see what's going on with Senator wrote Trump derangement bill and got arrested for soliciting a minor.
Catching up on some light reading, and I saw something that I
Yeah,
think both you
I already know about the. I think we did something. It was either yesterday or the day before. I forgot when. But yeah, we looked into this guy. We read the
and the
news
people
article.
at home could very much enjoy learning about, and that's Republicans wanting to officially classify Trump derangement syndrome as a mental illness. Who was that? You don't know what Trump derangement syndrome is? Well, my dear echidna,
I can't
you haven't
been
been
they're gonna
poisoned
actually
by
try and
online
make that a
people
real
such as I
fucking
have. So I will tell you what Trump derangement syndrome is. It is when people loudly
real
proclaim
ailment
their
for
opinions
some
about Donald
reason.
Trump in cartoonish fashion. And while some people will
Such a
sit here and say
fucking-
that the only time Trump
What
derangement
are we
syndrome is a
are
thing
we
is
living
when
in a
somebody
cartoon
is
world?
speaking
What
very negatively about Donald Trump. I hold the unique opinion.
Are we
that
living
inflicts
in
both
Who
ways.
Shot
There are
Roger
people who
Rabbit?
will loudly
Rabbit?
proclaim their
Sorry.
hatred.
I would like to see all Republican
Oh, yeah,
women,
this
or
guy.
any woman who voted for Republicans or Trump to be gang
Oh yeah,
on
this
national
guy.
television.
And there are people
He
who
wanted
loudly
people
proclaim
to
their
be
love.
gang raped,
Prosecutors
yes.
allege that Cantwell
Very nice of
repeatedly
him.
sent threatening messages to people across the country
Well,
who
isn't
didn't
he just a
maintain the same
swell
beliefs as he
guy?
did. You, sir, because these are some of the messages that seem to include racial slurs. You, sir, are a degenerate piece of shit. Read your article about the great Donald Trump. It is so blatantly prejudiced that you don't even attempt to be impartial. You redacted. You are
You
gay.
redacted.
I can tell. Fuck you. I love what Trump does and where he stays. You ignorant redacted. Never cared about
You
how
ignorant
the great ghetto
fig.
redacted Obama and how he got rich, but you're going to get a hard on about where Trump stays.
Oh, he's saying.
blatantly
Oh,
ignorant
now I know
and
what
liberally
that.
immoral.
I definitely know what he's saying, right?
God bless the
Oh,
great
shit.
President Trump and his family. Fuck you and yours. Hire extra security.
Jesus,
You're gonna need
fuck.
it. I plan
This
on.
dude is wild.
Y'all know how they got people who talk about like Trump derangement syndrome? I'm gonna need y'all to like understand that while there are people who like drastically like hate Trump to like a weird level, they got people who love Trump to a weird level. This is one of those people.
Jesus.
Both in very cartoonish fashion that deserves to be checked by mental officials. Officially, Republican state lawmakers are set to introduce a new bill proposing that Trump derangement syndrome is
Fucking
officially
insane,
defined
dude.
as a mental illness. 5 Minnesota
Why are
senators
people
are
like
due
this?
to propose the legislation to the Health and Human Services Committee on Monday. The bill's authors, Eric Lucerio, Steve Drazkowski, Nathan Weinzenberg, and the star of today's video, Justin Eckhorn, and Glenn H. Guhagen, describe the faux syndrome as the
Guhagen.
acute onset of paranoia in
Sounds
otherwise
German.
normal persons that is in reaction to the policies and presidencies of President Donald J. Trump. And I don't know why we're suddenly classifying this one specific thing as specific name Trump derangement syndrome when I would again argue that criticizing politicians and presidents really isn't that abnormal, and it makes you more so of an American citizen. Simply Symptoms include Trump-induced general hysteria, where a person struggles to distinguish between legitimate policy and psychotic pathology, which is expressed with verbal hostility or acts of aggression against Trump and his MAGA supporters, according to the proposed legislation. If passed, TDS could be added to a lengthy list of mental health-related definitions in Minnesota. The syndrome is not recognized as a mental illness in any U.S. state. The bill is unlikely to be approved, with Democratic-aligned parties having an on-seat advantage in the state Senate. This is why Minnesota Republicans have lost every statewide election in recent memory. Every time they get the opportunity to try to improve Minnesotans'
How come none of the other presidents have something like this? Why is it only Trump?
Right-wing activists. The highly politicized term was coined in
It's
Trump's
only
first
Trump,
term to
man.
dismiss criticism against him as liberal hysteria, suggesting that people abandon all logic and reason due to their dislike of the president. And you know, with current hysteria going on and a lot of things that'll back up a little bit of that hysteria, and people not really doing a good job explaining why the hysteria is bad, you could understand why this type of thing wouldn't go through. I think it's not going to go through because, quite frankly, it's a waste of everybody's fucking time.
It's a waste
to fixate
of
on
fucking
something
time
that
and
wouldn't
money.
necessarily be called Trump derangement syndrome in any capacity. It would just be called some dumb fuck on social media being schizophrenic. But a lot of people will have their
Some
opinions
dumb
about
fuck
it,
on
and I will
social media
welcome
being a
discussion about
retard.
how pointless this is in the comment section down below. But we're not here necessarily for the bill. We're here for one of the individuals that's
Some
helping
dumb
promote
fucking
and speak about
retard
this bill,
who isn't
Justin
even probably
Eckhorn,
part of the
because
country
I
and
believe
is
on
talking
the same
mad
day
shit
that
for
he
no
joined a
reason.
group of people to help bring this into the conversation.
Oh yeah, that guy.
He's been accused of
Yeah,
soliciting a minor
Minnesota,
in
yeah,
the
dude,
exact
Minnesota,
same day.
dude.
On
Minnesota's
Monday,
cut.
a Minnesota state senator made headlines as he introduced the bill labeled Trump derangement syndrome. Hours later, he was arrested. Senator Justin Eckhorn was arrested Monday around 6 p.m. for allegedly soliciting a minor for prostitution, according to a statement from the Bloomington Police Department. Detectives were in contact with Eckhorn, who believed he was talking to a 17-year-old female. They then arranged a meetup on Monday evening, during which he was arrested without incident. He is now in custody at the Bloomington Police Department jail. As a 40-year-old man, if you come to the Orange Jumpsuit District looking to have sex with someone's child, you can expect that we're going to lock you up. I have always advocated stiffer penalties for these types of offenses. We need our state legislator to take this case and this type of conduct more seriously.
Yeah, what
Eckhorn
the
has
fuck,
not
dude?
been charged with the crime as of Tuesday
The-
afternoon. The Bloomington
the
Police Department said
right,
in a
the other
statement that
guy
felony
was a
charges of
fucking
soliciting
Obama
an under
cabinet
18-year-old to
right,
practice
ex-Obama
prostitution
cabinet
are
member.
pending. However, the
Like, what
Hennepin
the
County
fuck is
Attorney's Office
going
told the
on?
Independent that Bloomington police have not submitted the case to us for charging consideration. Meanwhile, Minnesota State Republicans released a joint
And
statement.
then you had
calling for Eckhorn's
the
resignation
ex-Tory
because,
mayor
quite
who
frankly,
just
you don't want to be entrenched
or
with
prime
something
minister or
as so
whatever
grotesque
politician
as a
from
grown
UK
man
who just got
apparently is a father of two
in a
four
fucking
children
crack
who
house.
is trying to get his kinky rubdowns with somebody who is not of age. You see, dear Knuckles, as you get older, you will make various mistakes in your life, and you will grow older and past those mistakes, and you will think about those mistakes, and you will feel as
Yeah.
though you should live to regret all of those mistakes that you made
Yeah.
in your life. And you know what? That's a very fair human opinion to have about oneself if you truly view yourself in such a low manner based off of mistakes you've made as you grow throughout life. But a better way to go through it is to actually improve upon those mistakes
Yeah.
and no longer make those mistakes and be a better person the very next day, as opposed to being in the same
yeah, but
situation
that doesn't
you
work
were
for
the
some people,
previous day.
unfortunately.
Because imagine 10 years from now, if you are
There's
the
still a
exact
lot of
same person
criminals
with
out
no
and
growth,
about
no
causing
development,
crime.
then you really didn't improve in anything, and you're going to lead a miserable life. And sometimes you will try to puff your chest out and try to point at other individuals as the problem.
Say it with your
when
chest.
You yourself are the problem. Now, Knuckles, you beating
Right,
up your
fucking
blue
Kevin
hedgehog
Hart.
friend and the fox who deserves to get his ass whooped all the time, that's something you can improve upon, and people could forgive you for that. But Knuckles, if you were a grown adult trying to make a case that other people are suffering from mentally ill activity, and you were somebody who was trying to
What are you
fuck
talking-
a 17-year-old at your grown-ass adult age, I would make the argument you you are the one that would be mentally ill, and you deserve to be locked up. Because what
Why
type
the
of
fu-
fucking
why the
logic
fuck are you
is this?
talking to
You mean
Knuckles,
to tell
man?
me that you, in
You're
the same
crashing
day
out, brother.
of trying to get people to understand and arguably waste everybody's time, that you have people online who are schizophrenic psychopaths, you know, the casual things
I mean,
we call
just
these
look
people.
at fucking
You wanted
Chris
to have
Chan,
your
right?
own word for these people, and even though we already had
I mean,
words for these
just look
motherfuckers,
at
batshit
4chan
insane, you know,
and
the words that matter in
fucking
this
Kiwi
world.
Farm.
And you
Dude,
in
you
the
got
same
just look at
fucking
fucking
day
Reddit.
get arrested for
There's a
something
lot of
that is
fucking
arguably
retards on some
not
of these
really,
fucking
because,
platforms.
let's be honest, we know which one's worse. Worse than talking about a politician online. Because let's be real here. Who among us has not talked shit about a politician?
Oh,
Who
dude, I
among
talk
us
shit all
has
the
not
time.
spoken ill of a politician?
I talk
know
shit
a
about
couple of you motherfuckers
influencers.
who are
I talk
destitute
shit about
to determine your livelihood around
pedophiles. I
Michelle
talk
Obama
shit
being
about
a fucking man.
criminals. I talk
That's
shit about
fucking
gang
deranged.
members.
That's fucking absurd. And I think
talk
we
shit
can
about
all understand
myself.
that is just like that sick
I mean,
part
no-
of the
no one is
qualification
free.
of being
Everyone.
an American citizen. You know what's not a part of being an American citizen? Lusting after 17-year-olds for prostitution and thinking,
Yeah, that's
I
fucking
can
weird,
obviously
dude.
get away
That's
with
like-
this. And
that's
you
like-
got Chris Hansen.
You're going into
you
like
sick
Japan
motherfucker.
and
You
like
deserve
Thailand and
everything
Asian, right? The
wrong that is
Eastern
happening in
countries
your
do that
life
kind of shit.
because of your shriveled up little white dick not being able to get up unless you lusted after children. You fucking sick fuck. You know who I feel bad for? The people who wrote that damn thing with him, because I bet they was all sitting there for maybe a couple weeks, maybe a couple days, maybe just one day.
Well, I
They was all
shouldn't say Eastern
yeah,
country-
we've
all
seen all these
countries do this
examples,
fucking
and we
weird
think
shit.
that this is an important thing to waste everybody's time with, and they're getting ready to start
Throughout
making their
the
arguments in front
history
of
of
the people about
man
why
and
this should be a
women.
thing, and in the same day they get the notification.
Throughout
oh,
civilization,
the
there
guy
have
who
been
just
just
wrote that
some-
with us, he just got
just some
arrested.
not
What did he
nice
get arrested
things,
for?
right?
He got arrested for trying to solicit a minor for
that pertains to
prostitution.
the
Well,
soliciting
our
minors,
bill's thrown
right?
out the woodwork because who the fuck would vote for that? Because it's such an easy slam dunk to negate this thing. Not only is it a waste of time, but one of the people who wrote it was lusting after a kid. Why would we put in something that is made by a guy who the community can no longer trust in any capacity? It would be fucking absurd, and I'm glad this is just another reason why this wouldn't go through. Why? Because it's a colossal waste of everybody's fucking time, resources, money, and everything of the sort. These people who say all this weird shit, whether it be
Yeah,
to love Donald Trump or hate.
Yeah, the reason why he probably said all that weird shit was probably because he was soliciting. He was doing some weird shit behind the scenes. And then he was all like, fuck, I gotta get rid of Trump somehow, because he's gonna start investigating me.
Hate them. They're schizophrenic weirdos, and they deserve to be checked
like he's-
by every metric.
dude,
But
Trump
guess
is
what?
like
We don't need to
investigating
call it
all of our
officially
politicians.
Trump derangement syndrome. We just call them psychopath, schizophrenic bitches who deserve to be put in a fucking corner. Nothing else. Doing anything
Yeah.
else is a waste of our time.
Yeah, it
unless they
seems like
act
Trump is
upon their
literally
delusions, in which
trying to
case,
corner
we then
people
arrest
if he
them
can.
and throw away the key or
With all
eat the key.
with all the
Either option,
things he's
as
been
long as they are no longer a
doing,
part
with
of
all the
common society.
executive orders.
This was a colossal
I mean,
waste
you
of
already
fucking
have
time,
some
and all
people who
these
have been
people are
masking
going
off
to be
and showing their
embarrassed
true
because they are
colors to
now
be
attached
fucking
to something
retards.
that
right?
led to or is involved with a guy being arrested for soliciting a minor.
Yeah.
A member of his own party called the allegations, quote, sad and disgusting.
When legislators who are supposed to write the law and uphold the law are caught doing stuff that's evil and egregious, I don't like it, and I call it out no matter if they have an R after their name or a DFL. Praying for his family, because this is obviously a tough time for them.
Yeah, it's like Jesus.
Republican
Yeah,
House
if
leaders
this
put out
dude
a
has a
statement just
fan, it's
hours
like
ago
Jesus
saying, quote,
Christ, man.
Given the seriousness of the charges, Senator Eichhorn should
Yeah,
resign.
streamers do,
while he
influencers
is
do the
entitled
same
to due
shit.
process, we must
No
hold
human is
legislators
fucking.
to a higher standard. And the Minnesota DFL
No
also
human
put out
can
a
walk
statement
away
earlier
from this
saying in
shit.
part, quote, the facts
Some people do
presented by
some
the
weird
Bloomington
shit.
Police Department make it clear that Senator Eichhorn is an immediate danger to the public and must resign immediately.
And Knuckles, if I'm going to wrap this up for you and the people watching, it's to always remember that you can grow from your very mundane mistakes that you have made throughout your life. There's really nothing that will get you forgiven for trying to solicit a fucking minor. Fuck that guy, and I want to see him in hell when I get there. Subscribe to the channel.
Oh, yeah.
I will see you all.
There
in
is
the next
definitely a
one.
bunch of
Mwah.
people I want to see in
Goodbye.
hell when I get there. If anything, I want to do it myself to see to make sure they go in hell first. Alright. Well, there you go. Mr. Ruined Leon. Great stuff. Oh, I didn't subscribe. Wait, wasn't I subscribed to him before? Fuck. Apparently I lost my subscription. Alright, I guess let's see another TikToker influencer arrested. Or OnlyFans model who tries to ruin people.
Let me introduce you to Chloe DeFada. Chloe DeFada is a TikToker who used to be famous for having a very long tongue. Yep, you heard that right. That was her only talent. But now she is only known by the name of Breathalyzer Chick. And that's
Let me guess, she got caught.
because she got arrested not once,
DUI.
but twice for DUI.
Yeah, that'll do it.
And even after all that, she still hasn't learned her lesson and is
No.
still engaging in dangerous activities on the road to the point where TikTok is even warning her viewers. Now, today we'll take a look at both DUI arrests, we'll take a glance at the sentences, and we'll take a look at what impact
She's
it's
got
had on
2
her miserable
DUIs.
TikTok career.
Jesus
So let's start with the
Christ.
first arrest. The cops noticed a car that was driving at over 100 miles an hour on the highway, and then they engaged in a pursuit, and when they were finally able to catch up to her, this is what happened.
Wait, oh, she was driving 100 and swerving? Holy shit. Yo, what? Why does she keep driving? Just fucking stop. You need to stop. Lady, what are you doing? I think he's gonna ram her. Oh, he's gonna... Oh, right! Oh yeah, they're gonna... cave her in. Yeah, he's gonna be fucking upset. Yeah. They're both gonna be upset. They're like, what the fuck were you doing?
Put your hands behind your back.
Oh, yeah. Stumbled getting out. Yeah, you're fine.
You let my car crash at 100 miles an hour, and then you passed all those cars. Turn around, face start.
No, I thought that I couldn't do it.
No, I thought I couldn't do that. What is she even on? She's I don't... Please stop.
So next, the cops brought her into the car. She started crying, doing this little panic attack. But her real fear was to be put in jail with a bunch of lesbians.
A bunch of lesbians? Wait, what? What?
I want to go home. I hope they're just trying to scare me.
Jail with a panic attack. But her real fear was to be put in jail with a bunch of lesbians.
I want to go home.
I didn't hear her mouth move and say it.
I hope they're just trying to scare me. God, I hate talking to myself out loud. It sounds like a fucking idiot. I just want to go home.
Well, you already...
I don't want to be put in jail with other... God, help me, but lesbians.
There it is.
So eventually, they pulled her out of the car. They did the standardized field sobriety test. She failed all of them, and they brought her back to the station. Back at the station, she flew into the breathalyzer, and it was determined that it was
Apparently she
which
doesn't
is
like
double the
me.
legal
Apparently
limit,
she
so
likes the
obviously she
dick.
was going to go to jail for that. Now, luckily, we do have the disposition of this case thanks to my good friend Andre Sloan. He has his own YouTube channel, and he helped me find out what his sentence was. His link will be in the description. So she was sentenced to 13 days in jail for the operating while driver's license suspended. And then she was sentenced to court costs for the fake ID. Now, for the DUI, she pled no contest.
Wait,
and
she
was
had a
sentenced
fake
to
ID on?
75 hours
Oh,
of
she's
community service,
fucked.
as well as getting her car impounded for 10 days. She had to attend DUI school, random drug screening. She had to report to probation. She had to do a victim impact panel, 3 hours of it. And she had to
Jesus.
enroll into DUI school and complete the required treatment. Now, apparently, this wasn't enough of a sentence because 5 months later, here she
Yeah,
is
she did it
driving
again.
drunk again.
Yeah.
Hey, how you doing?
No
Is everything
way.
okay?
Yes, sir.
You know why I'm stopping you?
I do not.
Real wide.
No.
You're kind of,
No,
hey, how
you
doing?
dumb
Los Angeles
bitch.
Police Department. Is everything okay?
Yes, sir.
You know why I'm stopping
Yes,
you?
sir.
I do not know.
You're kind of all over the road back there. You're turning real wide. You're stopping past the stop bar. Is there anything going on? With
She's
the car?
single? I think
got
so.
the hair on.
There's a
Yeah,
guy
what's
next to
going
her,
on?
so
Okay.
maybe not.
Do you have any kind of medical issues or anything like that?
No, sir.
What's
you
her
coming
bond?
from?
I don't think you're gonna be able to pay
Ybor?
it.
We had, yeah, I was picking up from Ybor.
Okay. You have your
I
license
don't
with
think
you?
you're gonna be
I do
able to
not.
pay
I
it.
have my registration. No, I don't have my license on me.
Okay. Do you have
Oh,
a license?
you don't have
yes.
license or
I just don't have it on
registration?
me.
Yikes, dude.
Yeah.
Do you have a registration then? Do you have any ID at all?
Not on me. No, but at my apartment I do.
Oh.
So eventually, he pulled her out of the car so that they could do the test. And she thought she would be able to seduce this guy by batting her eyelashes and she wouldn't have to face consequences. But unfortunately, he didn't buy it.
Based off your driving
And I
pattern
will
and my
tell you as
contact
much
with
as
you.
I am perfectly fine. Thank you so much.
That's why I would like to check your eyes to kind
No.
of ensure that
I'm alright. Thank you.
Hey, okay, here's what's going on. Okay, like I said, I've been following you for a good little bit since you were at Nebraska in 7th.
He's trying to hit
So
on the
as we went
cop to
down
get
Nebraska,
back.
You were above the speed limit. You went over to the bike lane. You
What
went
a
back over to the other lane, you stopped past
slimy
the stop bar
whore.
onto, I believe it's Scott back there. Made a wide turn onto Twigs. Made a wide turn onto here. In my contact with you, like I said, I'm smelling some alcohol from your breath. I'd like.
I have not drank any alcohol.
Nah, I have not drank
But
it.
I would like to check your eyes to kind of ensure that you're okay to be
I
driving.
can tell you right now that I'm good to be driving my car.
Sure.
And I live
Oh
right down
man,
the street right
Right.
here.
And
at the
you
Hair.
cannot
Sure.
fix
And
this
in my
person.
interaction with you, I'm seeing
She
some
will
indications of
stab
improvement.
you in
So
the
I'd like you
fucking
to do-
back.
I'd like to at least check your eyes to
Literally.
ensure that you're okay to be driving. You don't have to do it. It's up to you if you want to do it or
I know.
not.
No, thank
However,
you.
what
I'm good,
happens
sir.
if you don't? What happens is it puts me in a position where I have to make a decision to arrest you or not based on the evidence that I've seen thus far.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's why I'm
Wow.
trying to give you the opportunity to kind of, you know,
Wow. Well,
prove some of my-
yeah.
or dissuade some of my
Sir, I
suspicions.
will tell you right now that I am good to be driving back to my apartment right now tonight. Tomorrow's Thanksgiving.
Sure.
I'm going to my mother's house
Tomorrow's
tomorrow.
Thanksgiving. No, that's
So,
too bad. Fucked up.
I have not been drinking. I am good to go.
No, no,
So,
no,
I don't know
no,
what else
not
to
good
tell
to
you,
go. No.
So would you mind if I checked your eyes as part of field sobriety?
You may check my ass if you would like to check my ass.
So unfortunately
Nah,
for her,
you're
the
fucked.
Thanksgiving excuse was not good enough. So she did do the FSTs and she failed them miserably.
Well, yeah.
Eventually, it was time to put on the handcuffs, and she could sense that it was coming because keep in mind, this is not her first arrest. So she decided to come up with more excuses, this time that she wants to go to bed and pretend as they never happened.
To arrest you or not based on the evidence
I
that I've seen
understand
thus
that.
far.
Sir, you are terrifying the shit out of me.
You are terrifying me,
I wanna-
sir. You are terrifying me. I
Sure.
am.
I wanna
I
go
am
to
a
sleep.
victim.
Sure.
I want to go to my mother's tomorrow. I don't know what else to tell you. This is taking up time. I want to go to bed. I've had enough. Like, I've had enough happen tonight.
Sure. So let me just kind of ask you one more time. Do you want to do the field sobriety exercises or not?
No, I want to go home.
Why don't you just go ahead and put your
No,
hands on-
sir. All right, all right.
Listen.
Sir.
No.
Sir.
Stop. Put your hands behind your back. Stop.
You.
Stop.
Listen.
You resist. You are now fucked.
Okay.
Ow, 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 ow.
Relax.
You stop doing that to me, please. Please. Okay, I will do your whatever test. I will do your test, sir.
Sir, okay, go do your test,
you
please.
you
I want you to
already
arrest the
were
barn for that.
like...
Okay, right now you're being arrested for DUI. Okay, I'm gonna ask that you submit to a breath sample. It's gonna measure the amount of alcohol that you have in your system.
Sir.
If you don't, there's some penalties that'll go along with that.
Sir.
Namely, your license will be suspended for a period of 6 months.
Sir, can I just do whatever you need me to do?
No, you're fucked.
Come back this way. 6 8 1 10 15. Female for a search.
Can I grab my phone? Or...
I'm gonna grab it for you.
Let her go. Oh no, she didn't do nothing.
Can I do anything?
You didn't do nothing?
Can you help?
You gonna let me hit it if I do? Jesus Christ.
So even if she offered
you're gonna
to,
get,
and I quote,
dude, one of these days you're gonna go
the
to jail,
officer was
and
not
no one's gonna
interested,
be
and
surprised.
he charged her with DUI. Now, this was the disposition. She pled no contest to a reduced charge of reckless driving, 50 hours of community work,
Your ass
then
is
12 months of
grass.
probation, alcohol evaluation and treatment if necessary, DUI school, drug evaluation
See ya,
and
Felicia.
treatment, report to probation. And on top of that, she needed to have a breathalyzer in her car so she could start the car and they make sure she's not drunk. Now, you would think after getting busted twice, she would realize that, you know what, maybe I should take this seriously, not treat life as
Free
a
my
joke,
girl? No,
and
you're
stop
going
with all
you're
this
going to
nonsense.
jail
But
with
no,
her. You can
she
get
still thinks
deported
that
with
this
her.
was a total farce, and she's even using
Get
the portable
fucked, fag.
breathalyzer as a source to make content, believe it or not. Take a look at this TikTok she uploaded just a few months ago.
Just got new nails. They're French. Ha ha. Wee wee wee. Wee wee ha. And
Honestly, I don't know how people watch this crap. I just watched it for 10 seconds and it's giving me brain rot. But in all seriousness, she doesn't think that
You're
driving
Asian, then
drunk
you
is
can
a
go to
big
North
deal.
Korea
She's
or
making
China.
content out of the breathalyzer. So
Or
yeah, this
North
is just showing
Vietnam.
her mindset.
Which is
and
it?
on top of that, she started
Asian,
to
right?
doing live stream while
And you're
she's
going back too.
driving. And it got so bad to the point that even TikTok is warning her audience that this is dangerous. Here you can see at the bottom it says
Go back with your other
participating in this
communistic
activity
people.
could result in you or others getting hurt. And you
I
could
should
see
say
that
politicians.
she was focusing on the chat more than the road. Now, what I find puzzling is that if TikTok is acknowledging that this is dangerous activity,
Man, fuck
why
them
leave
down,
the
yeah.
video up? Why not just remove the video?
Fucking
Because
spy.
clearly it's something that could kill other people or get
You can
yourself
go
hurt.
together.
But once again, TikTok is not known for having any morals whatsoever, and they actually promote dangerous content all the time. So I don't know why I was expecting anything different. Now, you might ask yourself, what impact did this have on her pitiful TikTok career? Well, quite a bit, to be honest, because you cannot find a single TikTok on her channel that doesn't have a comment section filled with DUI comments. People are mostly there to roast her, and I guess they lost interest in whatever she was doing with
I
her
mean,
tongue.
don't get me.
So judging by how she's
Dude, it's so unfortunate because she's cute, right? She's obviously cute. But why is she such a bitch? She is such a dumb cunt. Like, if anything, this bitch will get you in trouble. Like, 100%. This bitch will get you in trouble. It's like, remember the one video? Oh, I don't think you were here, but there was this one video of, these two guys and their two ladies got into a scuffle for some reason. They were cussing each other out, I guess, or something, and the two guys got into a fight over it. And then when they saw the two women fighting, they were just like, oh, shit. The two fucking women were on the floor fucking like beating on each other, and the two guys were just like, yo, we gotta stop this.
is warning her audience that this is dangerous. Here you can see at the bottom it says participating in this activity could result in you or others getting
Yeah, so they
hurt.
both
And you
so
could
the
see
two
that she
guys
was-
so what happened was the two guys started fighting first because the two ladies were fucking it was so stupid. I forgot which day it was. 2 men. It was so fucking stupid. It was a TikTok. Yeah, I don't know if I'll be able to find it. I think I was on X when I saw it. I don't know if I can find it again. I should have saved it, to be honest. Oh, right here. This one. Here it is. Oh my god, dude, it's this is this is the one. Literally, they start fighting for no reason, and then the two bitches accidentally knocked him over, but they start fighting each other now. The security guard's like, oh, we got an issue, because he called the cops. And then, right, and they're just... God damn it. Now they're trying to break it up.
Let her go, man. Let her go, man. Let her go,
man. This is so stupid. Literally. What? What? Literally, this guy's getting mad at her because the girlfriend got mad at her for some reason. No idea why. And then you have this guy being like, yo, dude, calm the fuck down. Trying to protect his girlfriend. Over two goddamn dumb bitches. For some reason. He starts swinging because it's the heat of the moment, because he already swung first. He was already starting to aggress, and then the two women start fighting. This bitch, look at this bitch in the back. Look at this bitch in the back, slowly walking up on the other bitch. It was like, what the fuck? And then she swings. She swings on her. And then the dude starts backing up and accidentally knocks over his own girlfriend. And then they start fighting. Oh boy. No, the fight. And then right here. They're all hugging each other. They're all very basically trying to talk it out right here. Being like, yo, are we good? Take it easy. Hold on, there's something going on. Yeah. They're literally talking it out right here. All these God damn it, women. You guys are the fucking death of men. See, this is why men don't fucking fuck with this shit. This is this shit right here. Yeah, fucking getting everyone in fucking trouble with the goddamn cops. Gonna get someone fucking shot, stabbed, killed, right? And then they're all like, yo, we gotta stop this. And then he's just like, yo, dude, take it easy. I just want to stop. He's just like, yo, man, I'm sorry, but we got. Basically, at that time, they were just like, okay, we gotta stop this. Oh, fuck. I don't. They got their fucking grips going on. Dude, where is this? This is like in Alabama or some shit. Miami, Atlanta, I don't know. Maybe Florida. Jeez. But yeah, there it is. I gotta follow this channel. They got a lot of funny shit.
Focusing on the chat more than the road. Now, what I find puzzling is that if TikTok is acknowledging that this is dangerous activity, why leave the video up? Why not just remove the video? Because clearly it's something that could kill other people or get yourself hurt. But once again, TikTok is not known for having any morals
TikTok
whatsoever,
had
and they actually
those
promote
people
dangerous
posting those
content all the
challenges
time.
that
So I
got
don't know
people
why I was
fucked up.
expecting anything different.
So I mean,
now, you might ask
every
yourself,
time
what
there's a
impact
new
did this
challenge,
have
it doesn't.
on her pitiful TikTok career. Well, quite a
just
bit, to be
happens.
honest.
People
because
play
you
into the
cannot
dumb
find
shit.
a single TikTok on her channel that doesn't have a comment section filled with DUI comments. People are mostly
DUI
there to
professional.
roast her,
Yeah, it's
and
like
I
all
guess
these
they
posts
lost
don't
interest
fucking
in
do her
whatever
any
she was
good.
doing with her tongue. So judging by how she's handling the situation, it's safe to assume that she'll probably get a third DUI at some point. I just
Yeah,
hope
I
that
mean-
she doesn't cause a serious crash where she harms others. If she puts herself at risk, that's one thing. But when you drive drunk,
She's
you're putting
just-
everybody at risk. Anyways, thanks so much for watching. We're almost at 50.
She keeps batting those
I know we
fucking
can get there
eyelashes,
with your
dude.
help. So if you enjoyed today's video, please do me a favor and
He's
subscribe to the
fucking
channel.
blinking.
Thank you in
It's
advance.
like, dude,
and
what
I'll
are you
see
doing?
guys on the next
Stop.
one.
Fucking stop. You fucking weirdo. Anyways, 15 minutes of shame. Oh, I'm not subscribed. What time is it? I gotta go to sleep soon. I got class in the morning. Let us go over. Little Yachty calls out BLM.
Rapper Lil Yachty is going viral for saying what we all should know
Oh,
by
Yachty,
now,
sorry.
that BLM is a scam, and we're going to react to the clip of him saying
The C
exactly
is
that,
silent.
and then we're going to talk about BLM being a scam.
I think I saw
in
this
case you don't know
on
about today,
Twitter.
because
when-
everybody needs to
I
know
first saw this
that
on
BLM
Twitter
took millions upon millions
when he called
of
out
dollars from all
BLM.
these people who wanted to donate and give to the cause and say these people's names, and they blew it.
On the
One of the biggest
Twitters.
scams in history, in
On
my
the
opinion.
Twitter.
But let's watch the Lil Yachty clip.
$1,000 on a trip to Disney World.
Yeah,
How
this
much
is this is
have
the
you-
this is the video I saw. Literally calls out this bitch.
spent
So
on
funny.
charitable causes this year. Let's start cooking these pancakes.
This year technically just started, so this year, I mean, like, it's hard to.
What about last year?
Well, last year, it's hard to gauge.
All right. So what about the year before last year?
Oh, well, that year, that's a good year. Yeah, it's just blurry. I be doing so much.
BLM? Since you want to be so black power?
BLM is a scam.
As soon as
BLM was literally.
what about BLM? As soon as she said, just the quick fucking fight back on the quick words, dude. He was ready.
Just started, so.
As soon as
so
he
this
heard that, he
year,
was
I mean,
like, "Fuck
it's hard
that
to-
shit."
Well, last year, it's hard to gauge.
All right. So what about the year before last year?
Oh, well, that year, that's a good year. Yeah, it's just blurry. I be doing so much.
BLM? Since you want to be so black power?
BLM is a scam.
Clip that. Send it to the fucking news.
BLM was literally a scam. They had bought mansions, and you probably wouldn't know anything about it because you don't care about black people.
Oh!
I do care about black
Oh, shit. Yeah, that keeps calling her out right here. Yeah, that shit was insane.
Look at my chocolate.
Yeah, then she does this.
It's a disguise.
You're mad. I think I'm literally the most pro-black person in this room.
Because you have an all-white staff?
They're not white. They're POC. Thank you.
And I'm gay. What is that supposed to? That's so. That means nothing.
What? Don't laugh.
I too have a gay, so I'll
Okay, we'll pause.
I
there.
too
I'll
have
see
a
that
gay.
again.
I too have employed a gay. I don't care. They do good work sometimes.
Lil Yachty, he's really funny. And he's on Quenlin Blackwell's show, for those of you who want to go check this out and see the rest of the video. And Quenlin is a baddie, okay? She would not agree with my politics, I don't think, but the point still stands. But let's get to the heart of the issue. He says Black Lives Matter is a scam. They took all this money, they bought mansions.
I believe it was a
yep,
scam at
he's
one point. Well, I mean, as
correct.
soon as
We
they
can have this
started
article
paying,
press,
right, as
okay?
soon
In
as
case
they
y'all didn't know,
started
the
taking
number
all
that we're
that
dealing with here,
money that
Black
they
Lives
were
Matter
said to
blew
going to
90
use,
million
right, for the
plus,
movement,
okay?
and then
There's more.
started
If you go through this,
purchasing,
they talk about
right,
where
property,
this money could have gone. They talk about leaders
right,
and
and
co-founders
probably
at Black Lives
were
Matter
using the
having
money
millions
in
of dollars
some
that are
form or
completely
fashion, not
unaccounted
in the
for,
best
like
way for the
Melina
movement,
Abdullah
right?
here, who's a co-founder
If they were
of BLM
buying
Grassroots,
property,
who
then
was
they must
accused
be
of spending
buying
this
other
money
shit,
that the organization
right?
was taking in
Other
on
than
lavish
property.
vacations to Jamaica and her
At that
own
point, it's
personal
already
expenses.
cooked.
Now, she's not been charged with any crime for this, but there was this threat that they were going to actually remove the tax-exempt status from this organization due to the
I
unaccounted
mean,
for
as
money.
long as
And
you
that's
have,
just one
right?
example.
It's because of the
course, we have
spokes
Patrice
or
Cullors of BLM
the
founder
spokespeople
fame,
and shit
who
who
bought
were
a
the main
$6 million
spokespeople
California
who were
mansion
doing like the
and
administrative work
admits
for all
that it
that
was
shit.
used
Yeah,
for
they fucked
parties.
around a lot.
And this is just one
I
of many
found out.
properties purchased by BLM founders and BLM
Yeah, the
organizers.
founders fucked
There's
around a lot
many
and found
mansion.
out.
And funnily enough, these mansions happen to be in these big old white neighborhoods
Correct.
that they hate so much around these white people. They spent the millions of dollars that people gave to BLM thinking that it was going towards protests and movement and calling out the establishment and reconfiguring police and going to the families who were victims of the police brutality that BLM was screaming and crying about in the streets and lighting stuff on fire about in the streets. And it turns out if you gave part of this $6 million, it went to a California mansion that was utilized for parties.
Correct.
Not only that,
I think
there's
I
just
had
the
to
mass
read a
destruction
book
of
of
property
hers.
that BLM brought to the world in the wake of George Floyd
Fucking Patrice
dying.
Cullors.
We saw all the protests, and the mostly peaceful protests, which in reality
It was
were
basically
riots.
her
And what's those cost?
autobiography.
$2 billion in damage.
I was just like,
So
ew.
not only did BLM take in tens of millions of dollars, waste it, not give it to the people that they were meant to give it to, and not use it in any way that is actually moving forward their movement in any meaningful capacity, but they created $2 billion of damage. And when they were doing these riots and protests, mind you, these were happening largely in black communities. So they were destroying black stores, black
Correct.
homes, black police stations, black businesses, people who had
Yeah,
been
it
there
was
for
black on
decades
black
and
violence.
decades, growing their wealth, contributing to their families, building generational wealth, which Black Lives Matter loves to talk about so extensively. And they were burning down, looting, robbing, destroying these places where black people were living their
Yeah,
lives.
and there
Please
were some
make it make
people in
sense.
the past who
On
were
top
like,
of the
"Oh, there's no
scamming,
such thing
on
as
top of
black
the
on
$2
black
billion in
violence."
damage, you also had the fact that here, 9 of the people killed during
Oh,
protests
there's no
in
such thing as
2020
same
were
race
demonstrators
violence.
taking part in Black Lives
it's not
Matter
true.
protests. Okay? And the vast majority of those individuals, of those 9 that died during Black Lives Matter protests, were black people. So you're stealing money, you're using it fraudulently, you are creating $2 billion in damage, and you are also, taking the lives of black people
I'm
during
glad
these
I'm
protests
Asian. Shut
and
the fuck
riots.
up,
Can
you
y'all name
liar.
one thing that Black Lives Matter has done and done well? Oh, wait. I'm not going to hold my breath, though, because I feel like I'll be sitting here for a really, really long time. And in case you're like, Amala, it's not enough evidence. I still feel like Black Lives Matter is not a scam. Boom. Here's another article
It's
headline
not a
here.
scam,
Black Lives
uh-huh.
Matter finances under fire. Only
That's not a
33%
scam,
of donations
uh-huh.
given to charities as execs paid millions upon millions of dollars. When you go through, and
That's
I
what a lot
urge
of
anybody to do
influencers
this for
say.
any charity
It's
or
not a
organization that they're giving
scam.
to, go and look at a financial breakdown of where your money is actually going. And a lot of times you'll hear this wonderful charity name that has this beautiful mission statement. And in the case of Black Lives Matter, they were fighting for police reform and fighting on behalf of the families that have had some issue with police brutality. And they wanted to completely restructure the way we view law and order and black people. And it was this massive racial reckoning. And then you go in and look into how they're spending their money, and you see that it's just like a handful of black execs who are getting paid millions upon millions of dollars, and what, only 33% of donations are actually given to any charity that's making any substantial movement on the issues they claim to be wanting to make movement on. Okay, and of course, we're wondering, does Black Lives Matter ever address it? I mean, it's the greatest scam in all of history with how successful it was. How many black squares did you see? How many BLM fists
Oh, yeah,
did you
the
see
Blackout
on
Tuesdays.
social media?
That
How
was
many
so
people took to the
stupid.
streets in the wake of what happened to
And then you
George
had the
Floyd and
whiteout-
said, we're going
the
to get to this
whiteout.
cause and do something about it. The least they could do is respond to us when we asked them about the mansions that they are buying for their founders. And they did exactly that. Okay, BLM has a statement here. It says, we want to talk about the creator's house in California.
Creator's house in
Spooky.
California.
Okay,
Nice.
so here's their explanation. First, this property serves as an opportunity for us as black people to own our land interest-free and unincumbent upon any white corporate establishment. It's amazing that anyone would question us for wanting to own property, as the real estate market nationwide has increased in value significantly over the past 18 months.
Hello?
But instead
The
of
Mexican
being
protest
lauded
died
as
out
making
quick? Oh, I
smart,
know, right?
diversified investment decisions,
It
so
was
we can
what? It
control
went
and
on for
define
like
our
the
own
1 week and
destinies.
then it was
Our
done.
movement is chastised and vilified.
I think as
The
soon
double
as
standard and
people
embedded
started
racism
causing
is
fights,
clear.
that's when
So
it
if
was.
you call
That's
them
when it
out
was
for
fucking.
spending the millions of dollars that
That's
you
when it was
gave
done.
them on mansions rather than the actual cause, they're going to call you racist for doing it. They say second,
there was
this
actually
property
some
has
people
served
who
as a safe
got
haven
attacked during
to
that
protect the
time.
leaders of our black nationalist movement. Our leaders and their families, including their children, have been targeted by white supremacists. They have been threatened with physical harm. We have a responsibility to protect
There was
them,
one where I
and this
worked out.
property
Next day,
has
there's nothing, and
supported
I'm
those
like, where the
efforts.
fuck
Yeah,
y'all
the
at?
$6 million property that they
Yeah.
bought, living in a neighborhood full
How
of
fleeting
white
it is,
elites,
right?
which they would claim are inherently white supremacists.
Look,
That's what's keeping your
Like,
BLM
you guys can
founders
do
and
all you
leaders
want about
safe. It just so
protesting and
happens
whatnot,
when
but
they
it
all
doesn't
get
really
together
fucking
for
do right until
safety,
you
they're
actually have
blasting
like one of
music
those
and partying in
workers
the pool,
unions
in the
to
hot
actually
tub, they're
talk to like the
drinking, they're
bosses
cutting it up,
or
they're not making
the
signs or
CEOs
working
or the
on
higher ups.
anything or
You're kind
discussing
of fucked
with the
to be
victims'
honest.
families about how they're going to give them money or help them or build a new future for Black America.
Yeah, some people are
they
just
have to be comfortable, of course.
Some people
when
just
they're
don't
being
fucking
safe.
think very well
There
when
weren't
it
any
comes
other
to
ways
some
that
of
they
that
could
shit.
have safely maneuvered through the world and continued their movement. They couldn't have had, I don't know, personal security. It had to be a $6 million mansion, and that's
We're
one of
waving
many,
a flag
one
to
of
a
many
country we
mansions.
don't want to go
Okay,
back
guys?
to. Yeah, exactly.
So,
that too. It's
there you
like,
go.
why are you guys waving
Lil
that
Yachty said
flag?
it.
The fact that
BLM
you
is
guys don't
a
even
scam.
want to go
I think
back to
everybody
it.
should know that BLM is a scam, because I imagine BLM is going to be something that just constantly sticks around and has resurgences. As
Like,
certain
we
things
already
happen
do
and
help
certain,
people.
Stories
And
hit
then
the
you guys
media
wave
and
that
people,
flag, and it's like, what?
reinvigorate the energy that they had in
Do
2020 with
you
the George
do
Floyd
you
riots and
want to go
everything that was
back to
happening
that
surrounding
country and
BLM. But
fucking
when
live
that
in
happens,
it again?
remember, it is
Don't you want
literally
dual
a
citizen?
scam. Okay, and
Shit,
if you hate
huh?
racism so
What
much,
happened?
you should hate that Black Lives Matter used Black people in order to move forward this scam and steal probably hundreds of millions at this point, if not tens of millions of dollars from the American people, and use it in the way that they did. So thank you, Lil Yachty, for pointing that out. And if you didn't know that BLM is a scam, now you know. If you don't know, now you know. Guys, leave your thoughts in the comments down below. As always, I encourage healthy debate, so if you disagree with anything I said in this video, duke it out, but do so respectfully. And if you like this video, like, subscribe, click the notification bell to be notified every single time I post a video for you guys, which is every day. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.
Ew. Alright, let's see what Mr. Drake is up to. And probably still being a fucking retard.
So UMG has officially responded to Drake, and they have basically told him, "It's over, my guy." They
Yeah, I thought so.
25-page rebuttal to the judge, where they essentially play the exact same game that Drake's lawyers were playing, using song lyrics both against Drake and to bolster their argument. Only in this case, they are using logic and reasoning, where Drake was using academics' YouTube streams and his own fan pages for reference.
Yeah, that was so
wanted all
stupid.
this, why I strive for it. This me, you'll never hear a reply for it.
Drake, successful. Plaintiff, the most successful recording artist of all time, lost a rap battle that he provoked and in which he willingly participated. Instead of accepting the loss like the unbothered rap artist he often claims
Oh
to
man,
be,
the lawyers
he
are
assumed his own record
torching
label
him.
in a misguided attempt to salve his wounds. Plaintiff's complaint is utterly without merit and should be dismissed with prejudice. Basically, they came out swinging and making the point that everyone else already has.
Yep.
That if Drake had been victorious in this battle of public perception, that he would not be suing anyone. In fact, he would likely be going on the Fuck
Correct.
Kendrick tour just like he did with Meek Mill. They even note here that Drake himself was encouraging Kendrick to drop a response to him for weeks, which is exactly what happened. He was even going on
Correct.
Instagram saying that they have nothing
Right,
to drop,
he's the one
and
who
that he
stoked
had
the
the
shit.
red button on deck if they did, which most
Hey.
people now assume was his Family Matters track.
If you
And,
don't
well,
like
we
the
all know
heat,
how
then
that
don't
ended.
fucking start the shit.
Essentially, UMG comes from the angle that both of these guys said hyperbolic things about each other. Obviously, Drake was called a PDF at the Super Bowl, by the way, and the Grammys.
Yep.
Oh god, and at the Oscars too?
Yeah,
Well, we're
Grammys,
halfway through the
Oscars,
show, which means it's time for Kendrick Lamar to come out and call Drake a
And Kendrick was called a wife-beating lowlife
Super
who
Bowl,
Drake
sorry.
says is fathering the love child of his partner and his best friend and business associate, Dave Free. Basically, UMG is saying that Drake and Kendrick, by Drake's depiction in his lawsuit, both actually committed their share of defamation using UMG as the vehicle to do so, and that this is actually an attempt to basically limit or restrict Kendrick's right to free speech and creativity, and that the implications of this lawsuit are something that Drake has signed petitions against in the recent past, using song lyrics as facts in court.
Mind, body, and soul, you need facts.
Yeah, that's so stupid.
These are all things I said when the lawsuit first reared its ugly head, but there is no logic behind his claims because he did all the same shit. For instance, in alternate reality where photos surfaced of Whitney being all beaten and battered, we might be looking at a totally different outcome. But to the victor goes the spoils, and for Drake's claims of adultery and abuse, there was little to no evidence to point to. That's why the claims really did not stick. Next, they really go through Drake's career and highlight the fact that they had a successful business partnership for the greater part of the last 2 decades, making him one of the most popular artists in the world during that time.
His business is selling the record, but everything that they said that he did, that they did for Kendrick, is something they did for him.
And then they break down
Right.
the lyrics of the songs from the beef to kind of just display that both of these men were talking their shit to each other. Then,
Right.
seemingly impatient with the time it was taking Lamar to respond, Drake released Tailor-Made Freestyle on Instagram. The recording uses artificial intelligence to make it sound as if the voices of deceased rap icon Tupac and rapper Snoop Dogg are rapping Drake's lyrics.
He did the Tupac thing.
drop and give me 50.
Yeah. Doing the Tupac AI thing. Right. You know, you talk about feeling disrespect. I mean, the whole coast, we love Tupac. Right. You know what I'm saying? The world loved Tupac.
Drake urges Lamar in the voice of Tupac
Yeah,
to
that was a
talk
little
about
weird,
Drake
too.
liking young girls. I mean, y'all have to remember, Drake said the Epstein angle was what he expected, that he plotted for weeks and fed Kendrick this information. They also note that these rumors of him having questionable relationships with underage girls in the entertainment industry have been
Hey, I
circulating
mean,
for
this
almost
is
a
on
decade.
Drake.
They even
He's the
cite
one
here
that
the
did
video
it.
of him and the 17-year-old girl on stage at his concert from 2010. Remember, Drake is the one who specifically brought up Millie Bobby Brown on The Heart Part 6, and to me, I've always seen that as sort of a self-report, because while Kendrick said, oh, you like these
Yeah,
young girls,
I always viewed that one the strange. Right, I always viewed that one as a self-report too. Ever since she came out about that one, I was just like, dude, this is weird.
he never mentioned
But,
any
you
of
know,
them by
movie
name.
stars,
and in his
right?
own voice, Drake raps,
Or
Seems
famous
like that,
people.
your tone changed a little. You're not as enthused. How are you not in
But
the booth?
still weird.
It feels like you kind of removed. You try and let this shit die down. Nah, not this time. You following through. I guess you need another week to figure out how to improve. What the fuck is taking so long? We waiting on you.
and then obviously the nuke was dropped on his head top. Now, they really continue to harp on the back and forth of the lyrics. I saw Drake fans online saying that this was pathetic, but it's like, how do you not realize that they are just being petty and showing Drake how slippery the slope he's trying to create is? They
Correct.
also say that he has
And he's
zero
trying to
grounds for
use his
defam-
lyrics as the basis for his legal claims. It's like, what are you doing? Are you fucking retarded?
case, and I feel like even if he did, he should be suing Kendrick, not UMG, because
Yeah,
the words
exactly,
said with
that
alleged
too.
malice all came out of his mouth. They then cite
Correct.
several defamation lawsuit attempts that public figures filed that quickly got dismissed. For those of you that don't know, defamation is extremely hard for a public figure to try and prove, and to say someone acted with true
Yeah,
malice
correct.
is almost impossible.
Yeah, just look at the
Basically,
Blake
the filing
Lively
says,
and
Drake, you are a
fucking-
huge hypocrite and a really sore loser. And you
Yeah,
have no
Blake Lively
justification
and
for your
Ryan
claims that will
Reynolds
hold
shit.
up in court.
I study rap battles for a living.
So
I
this is
study
honestly
rap
going
battles for a
exactly like I
living.
thought it would,
Fag.
and it's even funnier to watch all the Drake dick riders crash out on Twitter. It has been damn near a year since this all started, and they have fought tooth and nail every single day trying to twist and turn the narrative in their favor.
Embarrassing. Obviously, Drake's not fucking banging underage girls.
He can get any girl he wants.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Well,
like,
yeah, he can get
I think
any
Drake won
girl he
that beef.
wants.
Drake revived Kendrick's career.
100%.
Yeah, come on.
Wait,
It's
doesn't
really
he
like
already have a
Kendrick did
girlfriend too?
permanent
Drake?
damage to some of these fools. Like they're out here hiding his albums at the store.
Wait, no shit, really?
Doxing people and threatening lives over Billboard charts. This one girl,
Jesus
the Kendrick
Christ.
fan, even went out to the place that they were going to meet up to fight.
If any of y'all wanted to know, I am here. I'm still here. Yeah, still waiting.
Now, to me, both of these people should be ashamed of themselves because they have let this internet shit go way too
So
far. They are way too
stupid.
invested. Like, whether you like Drake or Kendrick, it will never be worth losing your life.
And then they get people to push a narrative, and then you become
Correct.
a human bot.
Yeah.
Don't be a bot ass nigga. You know, don't be programmed
true.
to say something that's
Don't
not
do
true
it.
because it's somebody else's agenda.
Don't be a
because
Fed
you heard
poster.
other bots say it.
Just don't do
And
it.
even when Drake dropped his most recent album on Valentine's Day, which I actually thought was a decent record, his fans couldn't even truly enjoy it because their Boogeyman had and has had the #1 song in the world with Luther, and has now been beating Drake's album in sales months after GNX was released. An album with half the amount of songs, by the way, with several of his singles retaining very high placement on the charts. And this was all despite Drake allegedly paying people trying to manufacture trends for songs
Oh yeah,
from
Drake.
his new album.
Yeah,
Just
Drake
break
has.
down what you've been
Well, I
doing with Drake
mean,
and Party Next.
Drake has been trying to be the right. He's been trying to do like content creation and promotions because he's been doing a lot of shit with like Aiden Ross and XQC, right, and all the Kai Cenat, all those top streamers. He's been doing a lot of stuff recently. So yeah, he's trying to push that shit a lot.
Store's team for their album launch. We did 53 million views in a week. His album went #1 in 7 days. They gave us a budget to pay out their audience, pay out clippers and UGC creators to just make content. Like
Yeah,
around
I
the
think
album.
even
Anything
Drake
related.
got
So
into
we're paying
cryptocurrency
70
too.
cents
I think
per
he tried
1,000
to
views
start
for
his own
UGC
meme coin
creators
as well.
to make like videos reacting to it, lip syncing, dancing.
And you guys basically created like the Nokia trend.
Yeah, it's cooking right now. I can't escape it.
That is the exact same shit that he was accusing Kendrick and UMG of
Correct.
doing to manufacture a hit for Not Like Us. While his fans encouraged people to stream the album in their sleep, and some of them were even out here buying 30 copies to try and propel him up the charts. And that's not to even mention the accounts who have been running propaganda plays with steak ads for the last 9 months, spreading blatant lies every single day to millions
Correct.
of accounts. And even comparing his
I mean, it's the
situation to
same,
Emmett
right? It's
Till,
the same
like,
thing with any influencer or music artist, right? Cardi B and all those, right? A lot of music artists get into battles with other artists for some reason because either the studio's trying to, either the music music studios are trying to drive up the. Sorry, I can't speak that much. Getting tired. Trying to drive up the whatchamacallit, the talks about people, or you have artificial bots of people just doing that shit, right, or just people in general just doing that. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of fucking shit at play here, especially when it's on the internet.
Like some of y'all have lost the fucking
especially when it's like super famous people, or famous people who are influencers or content creators, right? I mean, just look at some of the fucking people on Twitch. Some of those guys are fucking... they get caught up in a lot of shit.
plot. On another front, though, I did
Yeah,
want to
well,
talk
it's
about
mainly
Drake's
the
tour
top
in
streamers.
Australia because it got canceled about
Oh yeah,
halfway
not
through.
too long ago, TwitchCon got caught up in some shit, so... And then you had the San Diego, what was the Comic-Con in San Diego? There was a sting operation. It's like, Jesus Christ. People in California are cooked. Let's just say that.
With his team stating that it was due to a scheduling conflict.
So Drake has actually just
Like, every
canceled the
time you
remaining
visit
dates on the
California,
Australia and New
there's
Zealand
probably a
tour.
50% chance you might get
Australia
sick.
too?
Yo, shut up.
UMG
reached crazy.
Yo, shut up.
I mean, I don't want to say 50%
Which people were not
chance.
buying
Maybe
at
like
all.
25% chance.
Because they have all these shows now that are canceled, and they're trying to figure out what is happening because the reason that was given was just scheduling conflict, and people are like, that makes no sense. What is a scheduling conflict? This is supposed to be a tour. Y'all supposed to have it together. They're like, he's not committed to his fans. They think that there's something underlying here. There's something really, really wrong. I don't know how oversight like that happens, though, on a tour this big.
Exactly.
And since he stopped the shows, he has made non-stop public appearances. So it seems that the schedule was pretty cleared up all along. This cancellation led to many people assuming the tour was not selling as well as he thought it would. And even looking at some of these videos, the crowd looks much weaker than what you would expect.
Everyone has their fucking phones out, dude. Jesus Christ. Dude, everyone with their phones out are so fucking cooked. Dude, everyone lives their life on fucking the technology. I wanna fucking stab people. You guys are so fucking cooked, man.
Other than that, every night this shit basically turns into a charity case with people begging Drake for money. And of course he had to go on yet another rant on the fakeness of the entertainment industry, crying about everyone who decided to turn their back on him in what he describes as his weakest moment.
For my family, for my friends.
Oh, shut the
for
fuck
all
up,
my collaborators,
baby.
all the producers.
You're such a fig.
All the other artists that I work with, the ones that didn't turn
Degrassi,
the ones that
bitch
still
ass.
So Drake clearly is still out to self-victimize himself, and
Yes,
the dude is
he
still
always,
extremely
dude,
hurt. Like,
this motherfucker always victimizes himself. Don't get me wrong, he does get caught up in some shit that he doesn't deserve, but at the same time, he makes this shit himself. Right? He puts himself in this situation because he keeps fucking with people.
Like at the end of the day,
Trying
Drake's
to drive,
reputation,
promote,
fame,
right, trying
and
to be a
status
content
almost
creator.
seemed more important to him than the actual money. And now a lot of that has obviously been stripped away. I mean, just looking at that moment from the Oscars, it was the most talked about thing of the night. In terms of the petition he had filed against iHeartRadio, trying to see the payola discovery, they have come to a resolution with iHeart saying, in exchange for documents that showed iHeart did nothing wrong, Drake agreed to drop his petition. No payments were made by either one of us. Remember that Drake's stance was that iHeart had received illegal payments, aka payola, from UMG to boost the radio play of the #1 song in the world. This was settled by a judge with prejudice, meaning that Drake cannot go back and try and open this back
Yeah, he
up.
can't open
and
it back
that is
up,
kind of
yeah.
the exact way I see this UMG lawsuit playing out. And I just really can't shake the thought, like, why did you have to do this, Drake? Like,
Yeah,
even
this
if he
was so
somehow
stupid.
wins, it sets a horrible
Not only
precedent
did you
for rap, freedom of speech,
fucking
and really all forms of artistic expression that are protected by
like,
that. All this guy had to do was
pulled the
take his
trigger
L
on
the chin
the
and
dumbest
move
thing
on.
possible.
He has a big enough fan
But
base,
now you
and he
can't
just
even
dropped a
do
good
it
enough
properly
record
now.
where the conversation would have begun to move past the beef. In fact, I think
Yeah, you
people
might
were
have
getting a
fucked
little
yourself
bit
here.
fatigued of it, seeing the Grammys,
I mean, it was
seeing
probably
the Super Bowl.
going
I
to be
think it felt like
frivolous
100%
anyways
done.
if he
It felt
even went
100%
after
milked. It felt like
Kendrick
the
Lamar.
moment had kind of passed, but it's like he just keeps extending it. He keeps
Yeah.
turning the stove back on.
I mean,
only
he's-
to burn
he's
his
a
own
bona fide
hand.
idiot.
But either way, I want to know what you guys
I
think
mean,
about this
he's a
latest
great
update down
musician.
below. I also want to thank
But
you
he-
guys for
as
watching
the-
today's video, dropping
when
a
it
like and
comes to
subscribing,
legal
but
shit, he's
as
a
you guys know, it's
retard.
been your boy the Tan Superman, and some other rap beef out here needs to be covered, so I'm out. Peace.
Yeah, I mean, like, his arguments were so fucking he was never gonna get shit done. Obviously, also, not obviously, but also his, the way he didn't even, it wasn't even It wasn't even a legal, what was it? It was a, what kind of document was it? It was a, it wasn't even like a real, like, court hearing document or, right, legal doc. It was more so of a, like a, like, I forgot what they called it. Fucking legal words. Can't think of it right now. But he was just trying to get information, right? He wasn't even trying to sue, which was even weirder. And then he decided to sue. And it was just like, what? Fucking retard. Africa's most twisted warlord. Let's go.
Historians, even ones who write for YouTube, try to take an unemotional and objective view of the topics they're writing.
The Joseph Kony child war stuff.
But let's tell the truth. Uganda has been a dumpster fire since 1962.
Yeah.
When it became independent of the United Kingdom after nearly 70 years of British rule.
True.
That dumpster fire turned into a conflagration under the infamous Idi Amin, the megalomaniacal ruler who believed himself Scottish royalty and whose methods of torture were so brutal and twisted as to defy imagination. In 1973, Amin invaded neighboring Tanzania, which was a serious error in judgment.
Tanzania, yeah.
The Tanzania army, joined by Ugandan rebels, quickly took over the country, and Amin fled for Libya and, later, Saudi Arabia, where he died in 2003, never having faced justice.
I'm surprised he tried to go to Saudi
Arabia. A series of
Arabia.
governments attempted to rule the impoverished and ethnically divided nation after a civil war from 1980 to 1986, when the current ruler of Uganda, Yoweri Museveni, took power.
Because like the people who were killing people were in the army, they had power, they had guns, but we fought them and disbanded them.
Today, after nearly 40 years in power, all that Museveni has to show for his time in office is a corrupt government, suppression of opponents, restricted freedom of the press and speech, arbitrary arrest and torture, incredible poverty, rampant disease, and one of the most restrictive laws against gay people in the world. Through much of his time in office, Museveni faced numerous rebellions, none more widely known or infamous than the Lord's Resistant Army, LRA, led by Joseph Kony, another megalomaniac who, among other things, believes himself to be God, a mystic, a channel for speaking with the dead, the reincarnation of Moses, inhabited by the spirits of different people, both male and female, and more. If you're over 35 or 40, you may have heard about Kony. In 2005 to 2006,
well, I mean, I've actually
the Bush administration
heard about
launched a
it back
campaign to
when,
capture Kony and hand him to the
back when it
International
happened.
Criminal Court in The Hague. The main
well,
reason?
because of
the
fucking
outcry
South
from the
Park
Kony and the
and-
LRA's mass kidnapping of children to bear arms, serve as slave labor, and much more we can't mention at the
I
risk of being
believe we
demonetized.
did talk
Welcome
about
to a
it a
day in
little in
history.
history.
Today, the
I
inhuman
can't
rule
remember.
of Uganda's
So
so-called
long ago.
messenger of God is Joseph Kony. During the Ugandan Civil War,
Because there was a lot of
which is
people
usually
talking
called
about
the
it during
Ugandan Bush War,
around that year.
The Acholi people of central northern Uganda suffered greatly.
Or,
the Acholi lived
well,
not
about
only
the
in northern
Rwandish
Uganda,
stuff.
but also in the southern tip
Even
of South
before
Sudan,
that
which
year.
until 2011 was part of Sudan. Like many other tribes in the area, the Acholi aspired and still aspire to a greater degree of autonomy within Uganda, something Museveni strongly opposes. It was that way during the Ugandan Bush War as well, and Museveni's forces committed countless atrocities in their attempts to
Them
suppress
Bush
the Acholi
Wars.
people and culture. One of the early leaders of the Acholi in the Bush War was Alice Auma, who became the leader of the Holy Spirit movement and believed herself to be a channel for a deceased army officer called Lakwena, the messenger.
Lakwena.
The Holy
What?
Spirit movement was defeated in 1987, and Auma went into exile in Kenya, where she died in a refugee camp, having been, as she claimed, abandoned by Lakwena, or the spirits in general. She was also implicated in the trafficking of children and claimed to have found a cure for HIV/AIDS, which ravaged Uganda for many years and, to a large extent, still does. Enter Joseph Kony, who claimed to be Alice Auma's cousin and, like her, claimed to have supernatural powers and the ability to
Oh,
speak
no.
with and for the dead.
Oh
and
no.
God. He talked
Jesus.
to God, which is doubtful because
Fucking
the voice he was
religious
hearing
and
was
spiritual
telling him,
people,
among other
fucking
things,
annoying.
to kidnap and use children for cannon fodder and abuse.
Yeah.
Uganda is one of the most solidly
Basically
Christian
a
countries
fucking
in
religious
sub-Saharan
nut.
Africa. About 85% of the country is one form of Christian or another, but in some cases, that Christian belief is mixed with indigenous beliefs about spirits and magic. Both male and female shamans are
The
still respected throughout
voodoo!
Uganda,
Yes.
especially outside the cities. Kony was an altar boy growing up. After the defeat of Alma's Holy Spirit movement in 1987, Kony gained attention and influence by claiming that he, too, had visions and communicated with God. Most people believe that Auma and Kony are not related, but that Kony was trying to draw a direct line from her to him by declaring that he, too, was a prophet. Like another prophet, Moses, Kony declared that his goal and the goal of the Lord's resistant army that slowly began to grow around him in the late 1980s and through the 1990s was to establish a theocratic government in Uganda based on the Ten Commandments. The problem with most people or movements that are formed around a self-proclaimed prophet is that while they condemned killing or stealing, or coveting another man's wife, etc., is that it always seems that God also told them it was okay for them to kill, steal, and sexually abuse, just not anyone else. Another interesting thing about Kony's take on the Ten Commandments is that they seem to fluctuate in number and content. His two most widely known commandments were that he should be obeyed and, oddly enough, that God had told him no smoking. Children. While
God
God
damn
or
it, what is
supernatural
wrong
spirits
with
had
these
instructed
people?
Kony to forbid smoking, he apparently didn't say anything about not kidnapping and abusing children. Like others, Kony seemed to find convenient loopholes in what he read, so when his own acolyte people didn't flock to Kony's banner as he had hoped, he began kidnapping their children and killing their parents right in front of their eyes, often in the most horrible way possible,
Yep.
including setting them on fire.
Oh, that sounds like
course,
what's
Kony
happening
didn't
in
do most
America
of the killing
sometimes.
himself.
Or
No, he
parents
found other
getting
twisted
drugged up
men
and
a
killing
few
their own
women who
kids.
would gladly do his bidding and more. Many of these people really came to think of themselves as deputies of the messenger of God. Others pretended to believe it or came to believe it because it allowed them to do whatever they wanted. Kony had initially hoped to rally or defend his own acolyte tribe, but most acolyte were tired of war and violence despite repression by the Museveni government. So, in addition to his stated goal of turning Uganda into a religious state with himself as leader, Kony declared war on his own people. The war on the acolyte wasn't a declared war, but it was a war nonetheless. In truth, in a nation with one of the fastest growing and youngest populations in the world at just under 50 million, the Lord's Resistance Army probably never numbered more than 5,000. But 5,000 people with machine guns, RPGs, some armored personal carriers, and jeeps can do a lot of damage in a remote area among poor people who have no means of defense. And that number remained steady for quite several years because Kony and the LRA leadership cared very little about how many of their soldiers got killed. New ones just replaced them. Not every person fighting for or with the LRA was a child, but many were. The brutality of the LRA's violence is hard to fathom. It's especially hard to understand when it's perpetrated on children. The children of Akoli land and nearby areas were terrorized. Even if they managed to avoid kidnapping, simply the constant worry of being taken was enough to traumatize them permanently. When they
Yeah,
were
that shit's
kidnapped,
basically
they were
happening
immediately
in
treated
Israel
cruelly.
Hamas as well.
The shock of being taken, beaten, and otherwise abused quickly made children
Same
as
with
young as
Russia,
7 into obedient soldiers,
Ukraine.
or rather,
Look,
slaves with guns.
whenever there's
Not
war and
only
there's
was traumatic
women,
violence
children,
used to
and men,
brainwash children, but many who survived were told
yeah,
that their
you
parents
people
were
are gonna
still
get
alive,
abducted
and that only
sometimes,
by obeying Kony and his men would the children be able to save their parents' lives.
or they're gonna get
Others were
fucking
told
shot
that
on the
reason
spot.
their
Who
parents
knows?
were killed, tortured, or
Yeah,
sexually
or
abused
tortured.
to
Yeah,
death was
exactly. Or
because
killed,
they were
tortured. Yeah,
traitors,
exactly.
working for the devil, or were themselves planning to sell their children. Another story the terrified children were told was that it was only thanks to the LRA that the kids were alive and, therefore, owed everything to
LRA.
Coney and his men, including their lives and bodies. Sociologists who studied parental abuse and hazing report that despite suffering through hazing or abuse, many victims become abusers themselves. Under
Yes.
Coney,
And
child
we still
soldiers
have
then turned into
hazing that
monsters
goes on in the
themselves,
United
killing
States.
men, women, and children themselves without a second thought.
I mean, just
Those
look
who
at some of the
refused were
politicians
often
that were
bullied
trying to
into
get
killing
fucking
by other kids, killed in
trying to be
gruesome ways or tortured into
pedophiles.
compliance. A common punishment was the slicing off of noses of kids, young kids. The LRA kidnapped Louis LaCour and his
Or
3-year-old
parents using
sister
their
in
kids
2003. The person
as a
who
tool,
commanded the
basically.
group that kidnapped them was Dominic Ongwen, otherwise known as White Ant, was eventually caught and was convicted of crimes against humanity in 2014. He is serving a life sentence in The Hague. What Ongwen forced Louis to watch and do is beyond imagining. Ongwen was 28 when Louis encountered him, and he too had been kidnapped by the LRA years before. Now he was a brutal thug. In front of his eyes, the LRA killed his parents, then assaulted his older sister and killed her. Louis and his 2 younger sisters were taken away, forced to carry heavy luggage filled with clothes and looted items from his village. One of his sisters couldn't go any further. She dropped onto the ground and a fighter came and shot her. Sometime later, his other little sister fell out. She was 3. Louis tried to coax and lift her back to her feet, but beaten, threatened, exhausted, and screamed at, Louis was forced to kill his own sister. Once at the LRA camp, Ongwen and other LRA soldiers taught the boys to kill. As Louis later recounted, they would bring a prisoner and they would bring a panga, a kind of machete, and say, "You kill him." They would bring someone from your village and say, "You chop her." When Louis was liberated and had recovered enough to get out on his own, no one in his family would hire him. They were afraid of what he had become. Many child soldiers in Uganda and around the world never recover. Girls and young women were sometimes abused and killed on the spot. Many were brought back to LRA camps, which they were beaten into submission and made to clean, cook, and allow themselves to be used physically. Coney himself is said to have 46 children, many of them the products of assault. Coney and the LRA did not limit themselves to operating in Uganda. They carried out attacks and
Congo,
kidnappings in
Sudan.
Congo and Sudan as well. By the early 2000s, Coney had been labeled as a terrorist by the United States, the UN, and many others, and large rewards were offered for his capture. But Coney managed to avoid it. By 2012, Coney had been on the run from Ugandan government forces, US agents, and others for some time. The leaders in his army were either killed or captured, and others simply melted away, hoping to somehow blend into Ugandan society with a made-up identity. No one knows precisely how many people the LRA killed during its long reign of terror in one of the most inaccessible areas of the world, but estimates run to 100,000 or more. The number of kids taken by the LRA are somewhere between 60 and 100,000.
What the
Many
fuck?
of them are still alive,
That's a lot.
traumatized beyond belief and unable to look people in the eye for the shame they have about what happened to them and what they may have done. Despite a huge manhunt over many years, Joseph Coney is believed to be in
Well,
South
I mean,
Sudan, whose government shielded him
I mean,
for
in the
several
United
reasons
States
when it
now, you have
became
like 8
independent in
fucking
2011.
11 to
His followers are said to number in
15-year-olds
the
stabbing
dozens
each
or
other now.
less. But he still lives.
Or getting into like gang violence and shit. So I mean, right, third world country versus a first world country. We each have our own issues, but the cycle of killing still is kind of the same. Still killing each other over stupid shit. Alright, what time is it? 12:15? I think I should call it here. Actually, let's try to finish. Emology.
So, David, with all this other business going on, like we were just talking about, maybe challenging the going to the Supreme Court, the constitutional challenge here. Why pick this fight on pardons, especially when it's not even? I mean, what authority would you have to undo the pardons of a prior president?
Cognitive.
Yeah. So, Aaron, I'm not quite sure he's looking to pick a fight in undoing the pardons. I think it's the broader question here is whether Joe Biden, and I think what the president's trying to drill down on is, how much was Joe Biden present for mentally during his tenure as president, especially in the ending months? We all sat and watched the debate, and I think everybody felt very badly for Joe Biden in that instance because it was clear that at least on that instance, on that night,
everyone's
that debate,
starting to question it
he was,
now.
almost non-compos mentis. And so I think what Trump is saying is, look, was he all there? Was he have his faculties at the time that he was doing this? And I think that he was questioning that and putting that out for debate. And I think it is worthy for debate on how much the former president was engaged. And I think it's something that the history books will look into a great deal.
Perhaps they will. I don't know, though, in the lens of pardons. I mean, I guess we could look back and see Reagan pardoned in his final days. I don't know. I mean, I'm just saying if we're going to go back to presidents where we knew there were issues at the end, and I'm not saying we do for Biden. I'm just saying with that argument, I would go back to Reagan.
Sure we do. I mean, Aaron, everybody saw it for Biden. We all saw it for Biden.
I'm saying I don't medically know anything is all I'm saying.
All I'm saying is we don't know for
Can you provide a definition for the word woman?
Oh, no.
For the word woman.
God damn. Yeah, it is the same energy. They don't want to acknowledge it.
Can I
as soon as
provide
they
a definition?
as soon as they acknowledge it on air,
can't.
they're gonna be like,
You can't?
they're the people who are paying their shit. They're gonna be like, what the fuck?
Context. I'm not a
You're
biologist.
fired.
I'm saying I don't medically know anything is all I'm saying, David. I understand what we saw at the debate.
I don't know anything medically is all I'm trying to say. I don't know anything. Please don't say that on air. I'm just trying to keep my job. Fucking dumb bitch. Maybe don't fucking pop the question, you fucking whore. That's the most correct question.
And undeclared senators, and we anxiously await that vote.
Okay.
Senator Jeffries, is it time for new leadership in the Senate?
Okay.
Is it time for new leadership in the Senate?
Is it time for new leadership in the Senate?
Next question.
Next question.
Mr. Leader, first, can you clarify? Are you encouraging?
Next question. Didn't want to say, oh, please ask someone else for that question. We have someone who can answer that question for you. No, didn't even say that. Get fucked. Jim Clyburn, Rep. Democrat, claims that Trump admin is implementing Jim Crow 2.0. Oh, shit.
The campaign is over. We've lost the election. What we've got to do now is develop a response to the
South
American
Carolina.
people on what we as Democrats can
The place
do going
has been
forward.
getting fucked
And
up
so,
by
whether or not
natural
Joe Biden should have
disasters.
dropped out earlier, whether or not we should have had a primary, that is of no consequence at this particular juncture in our lives. We have got to figure out how to best approach governance in such a way that everybody will feel a part of this process, showing that we are protecting people's dreams and aspirations. not allowing this administration to continue to throw up these shiny objects while they implement what I call Jim Crow 2.0.
Really, nigga?
What does DEI have to do with Jackie
What the
Robinson?
fuck?
and
You
Medgar
got,
Evers?
your
And
Biden
what does that have to do with
administration was
saying
throwing
it is
out
no
a bunch of
longer,
shiny
persona
fucking
non grata
baubles
to
and
have,
trinket. Like what?
Government-sponsored events in segregated
For all we
establishments.
know, he
This
fucking
is the
Biden probably
establishment of
canceled
Jim
a lot
Crow
of things.
2.0.
And probably
I
fucked
said
up the
that
country a lot.
before we ever had the election, and it's coming true. And so I
I
would
have no
hope that we
idea
would
what that
stop running
fucking
around
dumbass did.
chasing these shiny
Fucking
objects
senile
and
croaking
begin to
shithead.
focus the American people on exactly what this administration is doing.
Yeah, it's the same shit over and over again. They never stop. America. Anyways,
So I haven't seen such a
Streamer
clear-cut
fucked around to find out.
self-own on Twitch
Oh, yeah,
in quite some time.
Look,
so
streamer,
apparently this
yes,
streamer right here
streamers do
accidentally
view. Some
exposed
streamers
her
do
own
definitely
use
view
of
bot.
viewbotting. So a Twitch streamer accidentally showed off her viewbotting app before quickly restarting stream, and apparently the streamer's name is
To what
Queen
extent?
Gloria.
How many of
RP.
these
Let's
streamers
see what
are
happened
doing
here.
it? I probably want to say about
Probophilia.
probably like 10%. I mean, you have to waste money for this, don't you?
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, as you can see, this is a view botting program here.
Number of
and
viewers,
the weirdest
20.
thing is that she's only directing
For 1 hour.
20 viewers for a span of 3 hours. You
Oh,
know, if
was
you're
it
gonna
3
do
hours?
this, like if you're gonna view bot, like
Did they post
do
messages?
it. Don't just put 20. Like you're taking all the risk of view botting on your account.
Yeah, you're
and
taking
only
the
gonna
risk of
boost your
view
numbers
botting,
by
and
20
you're only
viewers.
going
That's-
low. Like
that's
what?
just weird.
Yeah,
honestly.
that's weird.
Shit happens.
It's all front and
T.
center.
Hello.
She doesn't even know it. Oop.
I think she knows it now.
That moment of regret. Tee-hee.
Tee-hee.
Never take accountability.
Tee-hee.
Okay, I will-
Amazing.
I will be right back, guys.
Uh-huh.
I'll be right back.
Tee-hee.
I'll just come back in a sec.
Tee-hee. She's got to
Hey,
delete
guys,
the
still
bot.
here? Still here?
Well, I think most of them are gone because they were the
open
bot
out.
programs.
No, I needed to do a little. My OBS was asking me to.
Right. Uh-huh.
Reset
My
something, and I
OBS
need to
was
start
asking me
streaming.
to do the
That's so
thing
sad.
because I got
But it-
caught doing
Anything
something
but
illegal on
accountability.
stream.
So apparently she would actually respond to this because there's a lot of posts.
I got
sharing
caught
this
doing
clip,
something
because obviously it's
illegal
quite
on
funny. It's a
stream, so
very
I had to
quick
delete the
self-own.
VOD.
She tried to explain this by basically saying it was indeed a major slip, and it's actually funny it happened. But let's talk about it. And she basically tries to say that she has become suspicious that someone is viewbotting her channel. So to experiment with that, she decided to viewbot herself.
Yeah, no, that's stupid. Why would you do
That's
that?
the explanation we were
Yo,
given.
what?
Yeah,
Doesn't make any
I
fucking
don't think it's
sense.
working. Just a very embarrassing moment.
Yeah,
and
that's-
honestly,
no,
like viewbotting is a very big
you're
problem
shady.
on really
Yeah,
every
Gloria
streaming
Twitch,
platform, and
not
I'll just
shady.
never get it. I mean, I get it. They're trying to do it to boost their channel, but
I
it's
would
just
say
very weird
VTubers would
behavior.
try
I
to
don't
do the
understand
same
wanting to
shit
have hollow
too,
numbers
but right, they're
on
backed by
platforms,
a
but
company
That's basically the
that
situation.
can probably
Very
drive up their
unfortunate moment for
numbers
this
by
individual.
promoting certain shit, right?
Thank you.
But yeah, I mean the content sphere, right? A lot of some of these streamers did get brought up because of fucking inflated numbers or bot viewership sometimes. I mean, it was rampant back in when the platform first started. And then you had Twitch trying to like destroy a lot of those bots because it was ruining the platform. Because those are fake engagements. They don't do anything. Right? They don't help the platform at all. If anything, it hurts the platform. The platform loses money. Because there's actually like no one viewing their platform at that point. All right. Anyways, I don't think I'm gonna watch these. I'm gonna try to look for like highlights of these, because these are long. I mean, we already saw some highlights of this, so it's like whatever. But anyways, I gotta call it now because